We are no longer on the moon. I think we can all breathe a sigh of relief.
Our space pod crash landed and we're here now.
Yes, and somehow it's now the year 2086. So, like I was kind of explaining off stream to you guys, I'll give a brief synopsis. This game, for those who will jump in, like see it in the future on YouTube and everything else, this is a game that's heavily inspired by like Ace Attorney, Spike Chunsoft, and other games like in that vein. And it's all about being a certain type of defense attorney, specifically a public defender. So we're also Better Call Saul. That said, it's a very fun and cool game, and you can actually really help the indie devs by just wishlisting it on Steam and checking out their Twitter and or Blue Sky, which I only just found out they had a Blue Sky today. But yeah, I will say this before we jump in. There's only there's a handful of characters in here that we can read for and whatnot. I'm just gonna say right now, the first two that we meet, Zako, you're the short one, well, the short and angry one, and Saris, you are the old one. You'll know them when you see them. These are the characters I think you guys will have the most fun with.
Okay.
All right, well then, let's jump in where I do the majority of the reading for this opening. Oh boy.
And as just a small caveat, we will return to the moon eventually. Just working on something at the moment.
Yep. Rain sizzles off neon above me. The summer shower creates a noted uptick in the flickering of holograms down the street, and a slight blunting of the night's ambience. Emphasis on slight.
Hold on.
Oh, what'd you need?
I was making a weed joke.
Ha! Oh yeah, I also need to set up, make sure I have chat up. Do. Okay, now that's fixed. Lights, camera, and constant noise. This city's got insomnia, with the uneven heart rate to prove it. There's no escaping the secondhand nervous energy of it all, but I'm plenty acclimated. Just a wave of worries cresting on the surface, while I hold my breath deep below. Besides, a microdose of nightlife anxiety suits my mood just fine. Because if I'm not careful, this client of mine's going to die in jail.
Microdosing's never gone wrong.
Also, welcome, Alpha. It's hard to get away with murder these days. People are still presumed innocent, at least on paper. But by the time they're in cuffs, there's hardly any shadow of a doubt left.
Hell at the Boeing.
Oh, dude, we're living in the hyper-capitalist dystopia where Boeing is actually still functioning.
Listen. We gotta be careful what we talk about, man.
True, though I'm also half in the crosshairs because my dad worked for them for 30 years. Because the whole world's lit up, mapped out, never unknown, and always online. Whether it's incandescent or neon or hollow, whether it's LCD, LED, or just the nearest phone screen. There's light shining on every last pixel of the map. And someone's always watching. Solitude's a rarity, anonymity is scarce. And criminal defense attorneys aren't exactly flush with customers. So, you take whatever clients you can get. You don't balk at public defender work, no matter the hour. And should you find yourself in one of the last dark, quiet corners left in the whole world, well, smoke 'em if you got 'em. Not that there's much else I can do until my phone. Counsel, your public defender contract has been approved. You are expected at the 254th precinct present. Present your ID at the door to enter. Arrive at least 15 minutes early. I'll try. Heart.
I do have to say I'm not exactly comfortable with our point of view characters so far being some unholy fusion of Kafka from Honkai Star Rail and Makima from Chainsaw Man.
Fair, I didn't see that, but I also... You will have fun, once we beat this, we do unlock an art gallery where you'll get to see a lot of the cool character art design aspects. Also, Bubba, yes, this is an indie game that we are playing the free case 0 of that you can download on Steam, where you can also wishlist the game and help them. It's going to be an episodically released game where thing I wanted to bring up earlier that I forgot is that soon the actual first case will be available. They said that they should be able to release it sometime in November, so if you guys enjoy watching this, we might play some more of it down the line. Back to the game. Looks like the paperwork came through. It's nearly 3:15 now. 19 minutes since I took the job. Probably makes it about 2 hours since they finally got smart enough to ask for a lawyer. If they're really smart, they'll have used that time to get some rest. Because now that I'm here, things are gonna get busy. Now you can see where I draw allusions from Spike Chunsoft games, where this one I feel like takes a lot of inspiration, at least visually, from AI Somnium files. Precinct 254.
But if Purple Blood shows up, we'll know which game it's really from.
Fair enough. It's a goddamn ghost town. Nothing but a hologram for a welcoming party. Also, here's some fun things. Whenever you see one of these, I can't click on them yet. I'll have to see until it prompts me. But those purple words actually have some importance. I hear about a homicide, high clearance rate to be damned. You'd think they'd treat it with a little more gravitas. But whatever, if I'm that unimportant, they've got no right to complain if I take my sweet time getting checked in. I should take my time. Information's like cash in my line of work. You gotta spend it to make it. And if you're flat broke, no one will give a shit what you have to say. So let's see if I can't poke around and shake some change loose. Yes, look around quick. Press space to find them automatically. Okay. You'll earn credit for investigating anything. Okay, credit's actually really important. Credit's both a measure of your information gathering skills and your own credibility. So don't go broke.
Oh, that's cute art.
Actual police lineup. It's like I walked into a museum. Though museums tend to feel expensive. And clean. Dusty, forgotten, probably lots of unpacked boxes. The homicides department more like an attic. Hard to believe they were ever so busy that they had witnesses making IDs in the lobby. Again, it's hard to believe that they were ever doing lineups in the first place. Are you certain? Wasn't it dark? Did you know that during traumatic events, memory formation is blah blah blah? Poking holes in that setup must have been like shooting fish in a barrel, and all during billable hours. There's no room to sow doubt anymore. Not when a modded witness can just submit their testimony as a video recording. Assuming their phone didn't automatically file a police report for them.
Wait, they have a police lineup just right in the front lobby?
Yeah. We're gonna learn a lot of things. Let's see here. Oh, okay, that's examining. High traffic hallways, utilitarian furnishings, multiple screening stations. Pragmatic brutalism so textbook it could teach freshman level architecture. You can almost hear the building drone on and on about concreted iron and hard right angles. The civil planning equivalent of battle scars. From a fight won so long ago that they've started to look ridiculous. I'm sure it was very imposing back when it was built. Walking in here now, with crime rates where they are, feels like a hospice ward for heavy-handedness.
So is it at this point that I turn around and ask, do you both prefer that I keep my mouth shut whenever I come across something that's not how that actually works, or what?
No, please, throw it in.
Please do. Fire away.
Amazing. For the homies who don't have context, as a part of my degree, I actually had to take several courses in TA for several courses on various aspects of forensic studies, and specifically forensic linguistics. So when I see certain things, I'm like, ah, yes, amazing, here we are. It's one of the things that I personally enjoy doing whenever I see like video games or like TV shows that do crime is tearing them to pieces. It's something that I personally find very enjoyable.
Also, we have profiles. Let's see here. Oh, we haven't unlocked it yet. I'm getting
Oh my
ahead of
god, you
myself
have
from what I do know.
little phone chibi keychain.
Yeah, of ourselves. Okay. Oh yeah, let's see here. So, whenever we find one of those, purple words, we get one of these articles that we can read through, and it'll give us credit. There's only one that we really need to read through, but I'm gonna see if I can't scroll through this one, see if it'll give me some credits. But notice, once you get the most information, you get a little message like this. We're sorry to see that you've installed a subroutine on this device to disable and highlight our recommended premium external links. We understand your drive for personalization, but unauthorized tech impacts our ability to serve you the best, most relevant information possible. Consider disabling your subroutine so we can serve you a more tailored browsing experience.
Man, even in the future, Nintendo is knocking our mods.
Yeah. Let's see here, anything else? We got 2 credits. No evidence, reading list. No, we don't got any profiles that save the game. That's the bonus story that we don't have settings. The medium's cracked in the corner. Looks bad, but my phone's made the same stuff, and I'm rolling the dice every time it falls off the sofa. You probably know the warranty on one of these things with a loud sneeze. At least it's not broken entirely. Even at this hour, it's still dutifully scrolling through its notifications. Looks like the usual 1-to-1 ratio of public health alerts and inoffensive pop culture trivia you always get served at state buildings. But there's a few missing persons, too. 1 year of Silver Plan coverage, courtesy of Caduceus as a reward for any... Silver's no joke. Family must be getting desperate.
Look, I'm just saying that's hardly any damage. Like, I have this iPad I've had since 2014. Actually, oh god, yeah, it's 10 years old. It looks like a body went through the front windshield of a car, and it still functions.
Let's see. Read this. The datapad? Alright. Even when they're more advertisement than an article, they can still be informative. In a flowery, roundabout, corporate propaganda sort of way. Keep an eye out for articles in the environment. They offer insight on the worlds around you and credits towards your investigation.
I love the little jabs of self-awareness that we're already getting from this game. 10 out of 10.
You can see why I want to, okay, let's see. Are you gonna get it to me? There we go. Okay, this is the one that's important. So, Zaka, since you usually read, the lore stuff for, Fate, do you want to read this?
Absolutely. I'll read, subtext and, non-character stuff. Subway fixes axed. City to refocus on canopy. Declaring the subway tunnels to be irreparably flooded, city engineers announced this week that all plans to drain and repair the system were being suspended indefinitely. Saltwater damage to sensitive electronic cabling and erosion of key tunnel fixtures were cited as reasons why 89% of the subway system was evaluated as critically compromised or worse. Civil engineering efforts will be refocused on maintenance and expansion of the hybrid super infrastructure system that weaves together trams, highways, walkways, and skyscrapers into the canopy high above our city streets. What is this, paradigm for Big O? Reactions to the announcement could be characterized as blasé. It's been years since the subways last ran, and decades since they last ran on schedule. Most citizens have long since given up hope in them ever making a comeback. As someone who has been living with trains for the last 3 years up until now, that is a major loss. Screw that. Online chatter barely reacted to the announcement, with most commenters and voters' attention focused instead on the growing investigations into Councilman Long's campaign finance irregularities. As one of Canopy's major backers in City Hall, Long has often found himself at odds with a small but vocal group of critics and considered to be an eyesore and an amplifier of light and noise pollution. And with Long having stepped away from his political duties in order to more fully cooperate with investigators, for the first time in nearly 20 years, the typically rock-steady political foundation of the Canopy was looking uncharacteristically shaky going into this week. But with the subways now officially no longer an option, people and corporations alike have little choice for how they complete their morning commute. However, not all reactions to news have been negative. At least a few bold individuals see this latest report as vindication, and possibly even a rallying cry. Already considered by many to be the rising star in infrastructure solutions abroad, tech startup Subterra made headlines last year with their radical proposal for a system of personal submarine taxi pods that could make use of the flooded subway tunnels, but momentum stalled when their first prototype for the city came in for a disappointing 3,359% over budget.
Man, we never managed to solve submarines, do we?
No, we figured out the big ones, we just can't get the small ones working.
It's hit or miss. It's like, I don't know, roulette. Some of them work.
Well, if it's roulette, then it works out great here. Gambling theming.
I think it'll help your odds if you don't use the PS2 controller. Across the entire globe.
Are you suggesting we use the Wii U instead?
I mean, we'll finally get used to have a Wii U if that way.
Great.
Across the entire globe, coastal cities like ours have struggled to find civil engineering answers to rising sea levels and subterranean flooding that satisfy financial, practical, and aesthetical concerns. Historically, most scientists have attributed this increase in sea level to climate change, though there are dissenting voices. Oh shit! Water rises and falls all the time, for reasons we do not fully understand. Are we to... It appears you have 0 free articles remaining this month. Please verify your account information in order to continue reading the stories for that matter. Oh, so we're reading the New York Times.
Yeah.
I hate it here. There are ads in my game? Blasphemy!
Ballsy of them, putting the paywall there. As if I reached for my wallet after having to read a word like aesthetical. Besides, I got the gist of it. The takeaway is that the city will be focusing its efforts on canopy.
Rapture.
There'll be increased scrutiny surrounding the canopy now that there's no plan B. It's a massive project with a massive budget lines the pockets of a lot of people, big and small. None of them would appreciate bad press at the moment, not when Councilman Long's already thoroughly chummed the waters. Alright. I've taken in all the scenery and learned as much as I can here. Time to get checked in. I'll take this one because it's a nothing character.
Oh no, come on, man. Look,
go ahead.
here, you know what? I'll take it.
Okay. Boot up fine, so far so good.
Good morning!
Morgan, here for the public defender contract.
Could you please provide your name and... Great! Please stand still for a moment.
I wouldn't call intake college charming, more like harmless. But that's probably what the designers were aiming for. People don't mind a quirk or two in the text so long as it never speaks out of turn.
Look, just make it a cute girl and everyone will accept what it does. I'm sorry, I'm having trouble placing you. Could you please provide your name and date of birth?
So far so good, was it? So far so good, was it? Say, why don't you just scan my ID card?
Great! Now, could you just confirm your date of birth for me?
Why would they even bother asking? My birthday's on the damn ID card, and my profile. I'd have to be a world-class airhead to get this question wrong. No problem, my birthday's...
Oh, you... Okay, I was about to say, can you not check?
Yep. We get a little bit of this for every person we meet, and they get pretty fun. They also update as we learn more about them. So, we're Morgan. Our birthday's December 26th. Height 175 centimeters. Weight not equitable, you don't ask. Blood type AB negative. Occupation criminal defense attorney. Likes puzzles, smoking, wooden furniture. Dislikes commercials, hairdressers, jogging. Talent, fall asleep in any position. Coffee decaf, drink whiskey sour.
It's sour.
Hey, some people like it like that. Also, never.
So what you're telling me is that this person is a college student.
Do. December 26th.
Perfect. Good morning, Morgan Counselor. Thank you for your timely arrival and for taking on this public defender contract. If you're ready to speak with your client, you can proceed to Counseling Quarter 3C.
Is that what we're calling it now? You mean the interrogation room?
I'm sorry to have caused any confusion. The vocabulary is regularly updated to better reflect state standards. Oh, she's actually starting to get a little more human. I need to drop what I hear from the phone all the time.
Don't sweat it. I can't keep track of every new euphemism either.
Me.
They could call it involuntary wellness check-in room, if they like. Doesn't change the way it makes a person feel. Sitting in a stifled box of one-way panels.
I'm still trying to comprehend words like Riz and Yet.
I can't shoot a hologram. Nothing to see but their own reflection dully warped across gunmetal walls.
Morgan Counselor, can I help you with anything else?
Because of what you read earlier, you've unlocked an additional question. Read and examine at every opportunity to build up your knowledge and get the most out of your questions. What are you? Yeah, that's the one we need. That's the highlight one. Sorry. It's been a minute since I watched someone play this and got me interested in it. I know this thing's not terribly concerned with the lower wards. This is a police station. Why so goddamn dusty?
This facility is currently undergoing renovations.
Since when? The 60s?
The 19 or 20?
The 2060s, because we're in the year 2086.
That's the joke! It has been 22 months since the timetable was last updated.
They really don't see a lot of action around here, do they?
I'm sorry for any inconvenience you might have encountered.
I'm adaptable. What about you? They ever gonna fix that crack?
Thank you for asking. It has not been interfered with. It has not interfered with my work.
Well, that's all that matters, right? And that'll be all, thank you.
You'll find the counseling quarters past our homicide detective's office through the door to your right.
Thanks. I think it's just me for now. So you could go on break if you like.
Automated dependents do not take breaks, Morgan Counselor.
And what were you doing before I walked in?
Sorry about that. My damn phone fell onto a wrong key.
You're good.
Also, what in the capitalistic hellscape is it that we get an automated desk assistant who is unable to take breaks? No, thank you. No, thank you.
You'll find the counseling quarters past our homicide detective's office.
Through the door to the right, thank you. Ads don't get breaks, and they don't get my jokes.
Oh, because of the screen.
Mm-hmm. But it's usually the humorless types that are the most fun to mess with anyway.
Hey.
Okay, I believe that this would be the character I think you'd be voicing, Zako, and then the next one would be the one that Sarah would probably take over the most.
Eyes gone bad or something?
A voice. No, voices coming from down the hall. Sarah, this one would be yours. I know they're not labeled yet.
Paired to yours? Probably.
Thank God I stopped for directions. A building this empty, the desk could have just told me to follow the echoes. One voice sounds older, rougher, and decidedly low energy. That'd be you, Saris.
Appreciate you. Caring about me.
This be Zaka.
God forbid I try to be serious.
Well, the other rings with youthful indignation.
Not our job is like important or anything.
Definitely cops. And at this precinct, at this hour, they might be
At
the
this
only
location?
At this time of day?
In front of my salad?
Oh,
Yes!
they might be the only two living, breathing people in the whole complex.
Fun fact, the Aurora Borealis will be visible tonight in northern US.
Oh, cool.
So why else would you bother to print all that out?
One document or 100. Looks the same on a datapad. Anytime you question a suspect, you need to have a heavy file on hand. Makes them think you know them better than their priest, their mother, their...
Their big brother?
Wasn't gonna say that.
How many of those sheep were blank then? Oh god.
Sako, you're the one with the eye patch. Saris, you're the one with the coat.
Oh, love it.
No red carpet tonight, officers?
Oh no, she cute.
They'll give them names soon, so this would still be you, Saris.
Oh, good. Oh, I'm sorry. I was under the impression I was the bad cop. All right.
I have the eye patch. I'm clearly the bad cop.
Clearly. Okay. Oh. Sorry about that, ma'am. We don't keep many extra hands around at these hours. Probably faster to let the desk handle intake anyway.
Mostly cheaper. You the lawyer?
I am! Morgan, Esquire. Pleased to meet you.
Same here, counselor. Kasim, London. The ball of sunshine here is my partner, Farah Reyes.
Reyes.
Reyes?
Yeah.
Yep. Ball of sunshine?
She certainly is.
Huh?
Reyes will remember this. Sorry if you were waiting. Chatter between the departments has been hectic all night.
It's no trouble. Gave me time to enjoy my cigarette.
Cigarette? Like tobacco? What are you, 80?
She can't be more
Where's
than
your vape, dude?
She can't be more than a few years younger than me.
We're detectives in charge of this particular case. And it looks like tonight we're also your humble guides to the illustrious homicide department. Apologies in advance for any cobwebs.
Pretty sure I've seen this London character around the courthouse before. He never struck me as more than just some old-timer. But I suppose being an old-timer is an accomplishment in and of itself in his profession. Sunshine is definitely a new face, though. Rigid in her posture and her attitude. 3 in the morning and her shirt still looks ironed. Freshly promoted, maybe? 2 whole detectives working at these hours? Sounds serious. Unless you were just the first to arrive on the scene.
No, we're not nearly that timely. Uniforms responded to emergency calls within a few minutes.
Calls, plural, must have been quite the commotion.
Look around. You think we're the first to arrive for anything?
Yeah, fair point. She's not wrong! We were only taped after circumstances at the scene indicated involvement with an ongoing investigation.
Our ongoing investigation.
Not very subtle, is she? But I may as well bite at this point. So, you suspect this client of mine is involved in some separate criminal activity?
Wait, did they really not? No, I guess they wouldn't put it in a public defender's briefing. Look, consider this a little professional courtesy. A fair warning, yeah? That's the heartbreak killer in that room.
We've got the bastard dead to rights. So if you're kind, you'll help him plead it out. And if you're smart, you'll pass this shitstorm on some other night owl and go back to bed.
I'm not feeling particularly kind or smart at the moment.
Huh?
So perhaps in the meantime, you'd be so polite as to fill me in about this heartbreak killer?
You want?
Cover utilities at the rock you live under?
They want exposition? What do you think they pay us for?
I mean, they basically pay you for that because you're not catching the heartbreak killer.
Well, shucks.
Is there a problem?
Where did it go? Where did it go? Why is the screen black? I'm sorry, give me 2 seconds.
Oh, you're fine.
You're seriously not familiar with HK?
The Heartbreak Kid? Shawn Michaels?
Yeah, the first time I watched this, Zako, all I could think about that is every other time they said Heartbreak or HK. Never heard of him. I've heard enough of him for a lifetime. That name's been plastered all over the city for weeks. Their crimes wavering between breaking news and urban legend. Their presumed goal flip-flopping from unadulterated anarchy to unappreciated vigilantism. At street corners, in the media, on the net, everyone's indulging in the exact kind of armchair detective speculation that I can't stand. But right now, I need to figure out exactly how much the police do or don't know. And when it comes to cops, I always get better results playing dumb than I do acting smart. I take it he's a repeat offender?
What's the killer part that tipped you off?
You must have at least heard about his MO. Media's gone crazy with it.
Along with everyone else.
One bullet, straight through the heart. Body left to lie where it falls.
Hence the name Heartbreak. Not exactly creative, but amidst the swirl of every other 100-word article out there, catchiness trumps originality.
What you won't read about online is that all 6 of HK's victims were shot by the same gun. Without even needing to reload. What a magazine is for, right? Like, that's what that is, right? Right?
You'll see when we get to the gun. Horrible
Okay.
Horrible to say, I know, but 6 for 6? That's pretty good shooting, isn't it?
Hitting the bullseye on the shooting range is good shooting. Doing it 6 times in a row is great. But shooting 6 people with accuracy like that?
It's a whole different beast.
Takes a certain kind of monster, a real freak. His pulse probably didn't even rise.
I see. I think we can pick either one. Which one do you guys want to pick?
I'd be totally down for a Blade Runner twist, and we would want to say robotic.
Okay. You almost make him sound like a machine. Is it possible that...
No, it is not. There's no such thing as killer robots, madam.
Of course, my mistake. It's all those androids marching around the military, those robots patrolling in police uniforms, those drones dropping firebombs from the sky. Guess they're all firing blanks.
Fair enough. Machines can kill, and they have been for decades.
Suck it, Asimov.
And they don't commit murder.
Huh?
Right.
Evil, like heartbreak, is all organic.
That's a pretty terrifying thought. I should really start paying more attention to the news. How I managed to miss 6 murders.
Well, you can only blame yourself for missing 5.
Pardon?
Ouch.
You're still not getting it. HK's 6th victim was found a few hours ago. When we caught the son of a bitch red-handed.
So you're convinced that my client is the heartbreak killer, and tonight was just his latest crime? That's a serious accusation, with very serious consequences. I take it you have serious evidence to back that up?
I was being literal, counselor. Red-handed. When we found your client, he was covered in her blood.
Well, that's not good, is it? What you say certainly sounds compelling.
Is that lawyer talk for open and shut?
But even if that's the case, how does one crime scene make him look good for 6 murders?
It's all there in the discovery files. In the ARCs, of course. Join the local net on your phone and we'll turn over everything you need.
I'll bet. Thanks for that, Detective. I'll be sure to read it over. But if that's all the same, could I ask you two some questions while I've got you here?
Now, what kind of attorney wants to interrogate the detectives?
This kind of attorney. You're just that pleasant.
Come on, sunshine. Not like we're gonna be punching out anytime soon, right?
Whatever. Let your client stew in interrogation all night for all I care.
Intera. You mean the counseling quarters?
We're at your disposal, counselor.
Well, first, inspect. Barren, stark, uninviting. This must be Reyes' desk.
Hey?
Keeping your workstation neat and tidy as Admiral, but I can't spot a single mode of personalization. She's so new she hasn't had time to unpack, or is she really that uptight and boring?
Huh?
Both, maybe. You shouldn't have cleaned up so much just for little old me, Detective London. Someone really needs to introduce this guy to a filing system. Or even just a stapler. Paper documents scattered about lazily alongside actual photographs? Either he's really old-fashioned or really paranoid about data leaks. He doesn't look like the paranoid type. Well, orderliness aside, some things are better in paper, I'll give him that. Which also, I should be able to pull up their profiles now. So we got our boy London. Do 186 centimeters high, 78 kilograms, blood type B positive. Occupation, homicide detective, first class. Likes photography, dive bars, bangs. Dislikes.
Wait, what?
He likes his partners with bangs.
I half
Oh.
expected a what is it, divers and drives joke.
But dislikes ties, pollen, after hours work messages. So he definitely does not like to talk to fucking Reyes after work. Listens to podcasts, hobby pencil sketching, and frequently running late. Whereas Reyes is 162 centimeters, 63 kilograms, blood type A negative. Occupation, homicide detective, third class, so she is new to the job. Likes rice, limes, and automotive history. Dislikes liars, small plates, and cheap people. Enjoys watching product reviews. Bad at games of chance. And right eye Osiris Elite 86, which we will see later down. She's got an eye patch. There's a reason why I drew an allegory to fucking the AI files.
Oh.
We also got a profile on Heartbreak. Presumed likeness. At the top, unknown. Occupation, criminal. Likes killing. dislikes getting caught. Fave color probably red. Zodiac sign probably not into astrology. And reward suspended due to the influx of false reports.
Damn.
So let's see here. Okay, search terms.
See, that's how they get you. They offer up a bounty and reward, but then, oh no, we had too many false reports coming in. We're not kicking in until we get something official.
So here's one of these like search terms that might give some cred, Zako, that will help us because we're about to start using it, the ARC system.
Oh, you want me to read it?
Yeah.
Okay. Augmented Reality Crime Scene, abbreviated as ARCS, is an investigative tool in which data harvested by Sensors One of first responders is used to reconstruct a digital copy of the pristine crime scene. Wait, isn't that just the thing that Kay uses in the fucking investigations games?
Yeah, but it actually makes sense why they would use it here.
Programmed and distributed by a small number of tech corporations and frequently modified or even personalized by local municipalities, ARC systems are used by every major police force, most insurance investigators, and many law firms. After its introduction in the early 2060s, the technology briefly came under public scrutiny when the independent news organization United Media Casters released a series of reports claiming that ARC's data was regularly edited by corrupt officials to erase state secrets. These reports were later found to be fake, and UMC was exposed as a subsidiary of a cell corporation within Lambda Work Solutions, who were marketing a number of alternatives to ARC's technology at the time. Board members at Lambda denounced the actions of said cell and offered assistance to their former competitors in suing leadership at UMC, but the proceedings and settlements in those lawsuits remain sealed.
We got 8 credits so far, so that's good. No evidence, so I'll just hop out. See if there's anything else. Loose wires, missing panels, an aircon system that probably sweats more than the police it's supposed to cool. No room in the budget for making the office not look like shit, huh? I expect to find a lot of belt tightening at Homicide. I didn't think their operation would be this bare bones. They've got stunning clearance rate and they work fast. Guess the city sees that and just assumes their job is easy. Maybe their job is easy. What with our dear doting surveillance state eliminating so much of the footwork. Well, if your wheels don't squeak, you don't get your palms greased. So Homicide ends up as the only state department with a shrinking budget. A dumping ground for the police force's most unambitious and least popular. Okay, make sure it's... Oh, yep. Okay.
Latest Noble androids receive a warm welcome. Bolstered by a strong earnings report and surging sales of the Anima 16, Noble Electronics stock rose a stunning 3% this week to a new record high. While Noble's latest iteration has yet to surpass the sheer popularity of its predecessors, an increased profit margin has left Noble shareholders very enthused. Many investors were skeptical when, at their now infamous 2084 trade convention, Noble announced that the 16th line would be the first generation of androids to feature over 50% organic components. So-called warm androids, which at the time only saw demand in the health, senior, and childcare sectors, were looked down upon as impractical due to increased maintenance costs, cuts, scratches, bruises, and the like. While some critics voiced concerns that fringe religious or traditionalist groups might find warm androids controversial, more Noble business-focused minds feared that Noble was alienating its customers in the industrial and military sectors in order to cater to civilian consumers, users that viewed their androids from across the room and not from above the factory floor. However, as often has been the case in the last decade, Noble's doubters were proven wrong. The Anima 16 is poised to break profitability records with no signs of slowing down, and many industry analysts predict that these once rare organic androids will completely replace their more robotic predecessors in daily life within the next 3 to 5 years. As described in the earnings report, much of the 16th line's success, and indeed the success of Noble's androids in general, can be attributed to the remarkable, lifelike, personable charm of their products, and by all accounts that charm can be attributed to the work of Noble's famed lead programmer, Dr. David Asher. Lead programmer is the understatement of the century, said Noble brand ambassador Lucy Dees on stage at their latest hashtag Noble Industry Weekend. Because of his Turing solution to every Noble product, from the sleekest assistants to the most advanced intensive care technicians, are so beloved and trusted by our customers. While his reputation was on full display at the event, Dr. Assure himself was nowhere to be seen. He's always been reclusive, but he's become a genuine hermit in recent years. Are we really to believe he's still... Hey fam, looks like you're not logged into this device. Want to put in your account info so we keep reading? I'm expecting it to call us champ at some point.
He's in the news again. It's no wonder he can't spit without landing on a piece of noble tech these days. Especially not where the state's involved. You know if they'll bite when it comes to the warm androids, though. For government use, they're just, I would say, too frail.
Yeah, the government doesn't like really breakable stuff.
Yeah, also, phew, I'm glad we got the credits on that. All androids undergo wear and tear, especially if they're directing traffic or suppressing crowds. So these warm androids bleed pink all over themselves every time they take a rock to the cheek. It's just an endless stream of bad photo ops waiting to happen.
So I was right. They will not be showing red blood in this. It'll all be purple and pink.
Well, I mean, that's android blood. We haven't seen about human blood yet, because I forget. Okay. Nothing else jumps out at me around here. I've got a better idea of who I'm dealing with, at least. Now I need to check out the crime scene data. I should have been sent a link. You've been granted access to state files regarding case KL433511. Reply C to confirm. Confirm. You need to reply C in order to confirm. Am I talking to a person? I am an automated dependent. Ads are usually more polite. Our personalities are tailored to suit our users' preferences. So the state likes you to be a little authoritarian. You need to reply C. C. It's case sensitive.
God damn it.
At that point, we're throwing the phone out the window. Like, at that point, we're done. We're blocking the number and we're done. We're quitting.
Honestly, Morgan would do that, but as we are led to believe throughout the game, she is doing well for herself, but she is not affluent, as in she is, I can't replace this phone money. Alright, if I project from my phone... Alright, let's see what the police have, and what they think is important. The victim's body. Cause of death, ballistic trauma, class 4 blood loss, atrium and aorta, single gunshot wound to the heart. In brief, death was instantaneous. No injuries anywhere else, and no blood or skin under their nails. Blood spatter, forensics, and all the other good stuff tells them that she was shot from there. So the killer was standing in the doorway when they fired. Stand-up mirror, shattered and knocked over. Real glass, no screens or cameras here.
Find me a river.
Yeah. I should have known you'd do that, Zako. It was hit hard enough to come unattached from its arm, and while shards of glass are scattered, far enough to land on the victim's body. What a mess. Seems like this base got tossed aside at some point. And if there's not a scratch on it, it must be pretty damn durable. Isn't art supposed to be delicate? Maybe it's making a statement.
It was one of those thick-ass clay ones.
There's that. I'll save my gun for last. I know there's at least one more thing we gotta find here. Get the check. Okay. Oh, where are you? I guess I have to check the gun that I'll find later. But yes, this is the gun in question, Saris.
Ah, it is a 6-shooter.
The murder weapon, a revolver, found right next to the body. 6 empty casings found in each of the 6 chambers, meaning the gun's been fired 6 times. Looks like the crime scene techs practically disassembled the damn thing. All they found were fingerprints belonging to my client. So it was found by the police with the murder weapon right in front of the body. I don't even know where to start. Highly prejudicial would be an understatement. That's all the big ticket items. What about the security? Looks like the apartment was unlocked all night. It's not uncommon for people their age in a neighborhood like this. But no signs of forced entry only hurts my client's case. What about the rest of the room? There's not much else flagged here. Just a lounge chair got thrown and whatever this is. Unidentified ceramic debris. Flags is irrelevant. That's their technical assessment. Guess even the crime scene techs weren't sure what to make of it. Okay. That's everything that the police highlighted. But did I miss anything? Make sure it's not gonna let me. Okay. Wait. Something in the victim's hand. How the hell did... It's just a pill organizer. Oh. That's what I was about to say something. Okay. Looks like some immune adjusters, NSAIDs, and triprexazone. A synthetic glucocorticoid medication.
There you go.
I know enough to read pills. It's just you never read pills right on the first time. Not even pharmacists. Taken daily to reduce rejection symptoms like phantom pain and generalized itch.
Wait, a pill that can help you with rejection?
God, where's that in my life?
The autopsy said her tox screen was clear, but it's not like it matters. She could have swallowed every medicine cabinet in the city and still wouldn't change the cause of death. It's odd, but ultimately irrelevant. Everything else here is all very incriminating. But the kickers, everything that's not here. No out-of-place DNA, no crumbs. Nothing that points towards anyone except my client. Well, I've done more with less before. But not much more. I'm really gonna have to sing for my supper this time. Better get stuck. Who the hell's messaging me at this time of night? Okay, so here's the thing. Who wants to play the equivalent of a cyberpunk Zoomer?
Dibs.
Alright.
I'll be annoying.
First person who comes to mind is... I suppose it could be something important.
Oh my god.
Well, I couldn't wait till morning.
Good news, of course. Got a job for you. I just noticed the name just says Brat.
That's a pretty cheery way to tell me you violated your parole.
Oh, not that kind of job. Besides, I've been covering my tracks. This is something different. Kind of thing I can't handle with just a keyboard and fishing scheme. I need you to sue my gym teacher.
Not that kind of lawyer. Sorry.
Hey, at least let me finish.
What did they do?
Make me run laps.
Not illegal.
Let me finish! They made me run laps. Even though I said I had a stomach ache.
Said.
It gotta be like youth endangerment. Brain indifference or some kind of shit.
Sounds like you've already got a strong case. Try self-representing this time.
What's with the pull off?
Nice phrasing.
Oh, wow, I'm laughing so hard right now. See?
Is that your mugshot?
I wasn't gonna not get a copy of my mugshot and use it as a reaction.
Glad you found a use case. But I'm working right now, so
Anything cool?
homicide.
Oh, cringe. Wait, what kind of homicide? Is it HB?
Is that the kind of morbid thing kids your age talk about?
Teens my age? And yeah, we can read. That's a shocker. Compared to the corrupt shit in the headlines. Old-fashioned murder like Cardi B is like... Wait.
It's not heartbreak.
Then why'd you take the job, lol? You see the 98% conviction rate as a challenge or something. You taking up a lost cause? Probe knows work?
It's pro bono.
That was autocorrect.
You know they give lit homework for a reason, right?
This is borderline concerned nagging. Maybe you really are a bleeding heart. Or just a sucker.
I'm not a sucker.
Nice phrasing.
You should go to bed, Fran.
Tomorrow's Sunday. I can stay up if I want.
Tomorrow is Sunday. Because today is Saturday.
What's with the Carpe Diem shit?
It's nearly 4 a.m., kid. You've got school in like 3 hours.
Oh. Yeah.
We have such a good friendship with so many people.
We're off to a great start.
Oh yeah. Repeat offenders may be good for business, but that kid's bad for my blood pressure.
Important text message, I take it.
Just your typical teenage drama. So then, you wouldn't mind filling me in on a few details? Oh, we can actually ask about the androids and the cops. I'll save that one first. Okay, let's see it. Start with details. So how about the basics? What exactly has my client been charged with?
Client, Carlos Backer Flat. I'm assuming it's Backer and not Baker because there's a double K there. Was arrested on the scene at 9:50 p.m.
Using his middle name already, they really do think he's a serial killer.
The charge being the first-degree murder of his girlfriend, Miss Diane Dawn. We do love alliteration in this house.
Mm-hmm.
First degree, that's...
Increasingly rare.
to say the least.
It's rare for us to get handed anything but crimes of passion around here. City's got damn near more cameras than people. Oh, you gotta be really, really stupid to try and get away with murder.
Well, Heartbreak's gotten away with it 6 times. So what's that make him?
5 times, and it makes him insane.
I was gonna go with extraordinary.
Let's split the difference and say he's extraordinarily insane. But nut jobs like that aren't renowned for their ability to think ahead. What makes you think this was a premeditated?
How about the fact that he stalked and killed 5 other women as a warm-up?
Warm-up?
5 previous bullets, 5 previous victims. None of them knew each other, lived near each other, worked in the same fields. Weeks of... Sorry, the text is hard to read. Digital autopsies crawling up and down their online profiles. Nothing.
So the serial killer chose his victims at random. If they have nothing in common,
Yeah, nothing common at all. Other than that they all look like cousins.
The physical similarities are striking. All 5 prior victims were young women with brown hair and eyes and about the same height, comparable weight.
well, those features aren't exactly uncommon. Couldn't it be?
A coincidence? If you really believe that, you should quit your job and start buying lotto tickets. HK's got himself a type. Anyone can see that. You really gonna try and tell me you don't see the resemblance?
Young woman, brown hair, brown eyes. Can't tell how tall she is from a portrait, but I can take the hint. So you think what, exactly? That Carlos Flat wanted to kill his girlfriend so badly he went out and shot 5 other women first.
Hey, if the shoe fits.
If the shoe fits?
Then you put the shoe on the...
What Sunshine means is that it's not uncommon for killers to displace their violence from people close them onto outlets with fewer consequences.
drifters, loners, strangers, workers.
He was probably building up the nerve for tonight when by first practicing on these other similar women.
Or it's just so far gone that he can't tell the difference anymore.
It's not the worst theory in the world, but it doesn't fit. They want to claim that those previous victims were practice runs, dress rehearsals for tonight's main event. But if that were the case, there'd been signs of hesitation, nerves.
HBK clearly needed to do some house shows before the main event.
There'd have been mistakes. On top of which, guns are impersonal, execution shots even more so. There's no sadism or hatred or intimacy in a single bullet to the heart.
Well, I mean, you can kind of get, like, thematic being the heart.
I mean, fair. Killing your girlfriend or her lookalikes usually is, if nothing else, a lot less sterile. If you ask me. Prepare for a lot of those weird moments where you're just like, what just happened? Morgan's weird.
See, I'm glad it happened because I was about to make a sterile joke and it stopped me.
Fair enough. I saw the timeline of death was 9 p.m. on the autopsy. Do you have a timeline for the rest of the night's events?
Can't trust much out of what comes out of his mouth. But we've managed thanks to less biased sources.
We're pretty confident about what we've been able to piece together from their statements.
So they've interviewed witnesses? Sounds eerily similar to real police work.
The suspect and his girlfriend were arguing Oh, she has a cyber eye, okay. The suspect and his girlfriend were arguing loudly with one another starting around 8 p.m.
Neighbors were very clear about that part. Couldn't wait to tell us all about the happy couple's domestic problems.
Everyone in the building knew they'd been fighting for weeks.
As you probably gathered from what you saw in the arcs, there was a struggle. No, not at all. Furniture turned over, glass shattered. But things go quiet sometime after 9 p.m. And then there's a gunshot.
Scrubbers are still scrubbing, looking for audio from the area to get a timestamp. But we heard from enough concerned citizens to be pretty damn sure about the time.
Right, emergency services got a burst of calls from the block shortly after 9 p.m. No one seemed to recognize the sound for what it was. The silence that followed was pretty universally alarming.
Officers arrive on the street at 9:08 p.m., establish perimeter, enter through their open front door at 9:10 p.m., and then they find your client crouched over his dead girlfriend, his hand covered in her blood. At which point they move to secure the scene. The suspect, and the suspect.
Sorry, did you say his hand singular?
Client's modded cybernetic right arm.
How mod are we talking about here?
Registered with a HAL 85 Habilis, industrial grade looks like. It has a spec for dexterous manipulation of up to class 4 KPA, which means a minimum grip strength of... Well, basically, he could crush your neck without ever gritting his teeth. Considering career change?
No, it's not that, it's just... Your eye must be very sensitive for you to put the patch back on each time. And here I thought you just had a 14-year-old sense of fashion.
You think a cop would cover up her dominant eye because it was fashionable?
I actually thought the same thing the first time we met.
You what?
Getting back on track, that arm of his has been in the shop for some time now.
I just want to point out, everyone looks at her and is just like, yep, she's a Chunibyo.
Can't work without it. Money got tight.
You arguing?
Yeah.
When did he put his arm in for repairs?
8 days before HK's first victim was killed.
Well, no chance they'll be willing to chalk that up to coincidence.
Your client was arrested on the scene after a preliminary scan found his fingerprints on the revolver. No one else's.
A revolver? What kind?
The one that shoots. The old kind. The real old kind.
More specifically, a Calver M54, 6-chambered, 10mm.
Calver? How retro?
You don't know the half of it. We're talking steel chamber, real gunpowder, mechanical firing pin. And no tags.
No tax? How is that? Just how old are we talking here?
Yeah, 24/7 location data, time-stamped trigger pulls, safety's coded to owner biometrics. For the past 3 decades, tags have made shooting crimes very unambiguous.
So you're claiming my client used some kind of antique to commit these crimes?
How else do you think he'd have gotten away with it this of 5 other times? If he tried to buy a gun legit, he'd probably fail the very first psych check. And even jailbroken pieces are only good for so long before update withdrawal sets in.
So then, M54, that's...
Model year 2054.
a 30-year-old gun. Well, that sure complicates things, doesn't it?
In some ways, sure. But pre-tagging firearms are rare. Gotta be less than 1,000 of them left in the whole country, and fewer still compatible bullets.
The ammunition would have had to been over 30 years too. The ammunition would have had to be over 30 years old too.
The novelty of his weapon has kept us in the dark so far. But now that we have our hands on it, it's gonna put him away for good.
Dark Knight Department complained loud as hell about how deep they had to dig. But with the protocols they found, the techs were able to match the rifling marks on all 6 bullets to the gun your client was found with.
Rifling marks?
They had to do actual ballistics.
Bullets fired from the guns that old are marked by the barrel's shape.
So if all 6 bullets had the same rifling marks...
We know that they were all fired by the same gun.
It's not as plug and play as tags are, but it's equally precise science, I can assure you. And if that's not damning enough, the spent casings from the other 5 shootings were still in the chamber.
Without even needing to reload.
The caliber your client was found with is the gun HK that used to kill 6 women. No way to lawyer around that.
An untagged gun, just being anywhere near a weapon like that could warrant your arrest. Being found by police over a dead body with an untagged gun used at 5 other crime scenes is just... To summarize then, you believe that my client fought verbally, then physically with his girlfriend, and then he retrieved this weapon and shot her.
Yeah, pretty much.
How did he look when the officers found him?
Guilty.
How was his effect?
Quiet, detached, stiff.
Not exactly the picture of a grieving partner.
That reaction may have lost him points with the cops, but beyond that, people react to loss in all kinds of unusual ways. And so long as the police are suspicious of you, there's no right way to grieve. Checking my phone here, and I have to say, you've done a pretty admirable job keeping the details of the Heartbreak Killer's crimes a secret. Plus, reputable sites are doing some real journalistic acrobatics trying to piece together a story.
Yeah, top 11 theories on who hurt HK is a real weighty read.
Not just journalists, though. All kinds have been emboldened.
But why top 11? Because I'd like to go one step beyond. That's a poll for like 4 people!
The freaks that HK has managed to bring out the woodwork in just a few weeks.
Can you blame them, though?
Yeah.
He's a genuine serial killer. Repeat offenders in general are an endangered species, but he's gotten away with...
We know what he's gotten away with.
Alright, listen, I need you to take a look at some true crime podcasts. Give us about 2 hours, and then you'll understand.
He does actually listen to podcast shit.
Yeah. Take a look around us, Detective. National DNA Registry is robust enough that cases never go cold. Cameras on every street, a phone on every citizen. Violent crime at an all-time low, and clearance rates at all-time highs.
But you're gonna spout some alt-pole bullshit about invasion of privacy?
No, I'm not. People are safer now than in any other time in history, Detective. So when someone like Heartbreak does come along...
Good point.
London's trying to look like he can laugh it off. The pressure from the higher-ups must be reaching its peak. They want, maybe need, to see someone charged, and at that, makes them predictable.
Yeah, well. Even if there is nothing standard about HK, Department SOP still dictates we starve the media for case details.
That way, when we do feed them, they're grateful for whatever scraps they get.
But we can't take all the credit this time around. Homicide's tight-knit and tight-lipped, but not like there's much information for us to leak in the first place.
And why is that?
Because none of the shootings were caught on the opt-in crime surveillance system.
How is that even possible? I know that there are some rough areas in the lower wards, but Optics is watching every other street in the entire city. You're saying you haven't seen this killer on camera once.
You think we'd have let him kill 6 people if we did?
You don't want the answer to that. I understand your concern, ma'am, but Optics is only what it says in the name. Private surveillance system signing up to feed into the state's security network. It's not perfect. Just another one of the many public safety tools in our belt.
It's not meant to be perfect, it's meant to help us solve crimes. Or at least act as a deterrent.
One would hope so. Bad chance. Deterrents are for war rooms and board meetings. Anyone crazy or desperate enough to commit a crime in a city like this couldn't care less about anything as vague as the consequences of their actions.
It's like a safety blanket. One with very few holes left in it.
But 6
Let it-
bullet-shaped ones.
It has exactly 6 holes. No more, no less. But it does have holes. Patching up those remaining holes takes effort. And that effort usually means rebooting the system. And guess what they don't want to do because they're the government? There's all kinds of technical details and digital bureaucracy involved. But the end result is that there are occasional localized blackouts. And the math used to schedule them is not impossible to predict.
I see.
Those windows of opportunity are small and short. Taking advantage of them requires specific knowledge. You need to be involved with law enforcement, pub data, or city planning.
They'd have mentioned if my client was a cop, and he wouldn't have needed a public defender. Either. His file says he's mod for heavy mass manipulation, not tech interfacing, so that just leaves city planning. So does he work construction for the city?
HK has only ever struck at times and locations where optics would be down. Even with the devil's own luck, it can't possibly be a coincidence.
Wait, so you're saying when this woman was killed,
Yeah, there's a blackout from around 8 to 9 tonight. Right on schedule, so to speak. And included the area surrounding the victim's apartment.
well, what about DNA from the other crime scenes? Was my client a match?
There's been no blood, no saliva, no suspect DNA at any of the crime scenes.
No footage and no forensics.
Also no motives, tampering, or witnesses. It's been like hunting a damn ghost. We didn't even have a murder weapon. Until now.
Finally, a lucky break for the boys in blue.
And girls.
Scanners, cams, drones, forensics, no matter how you dress it up with tech, all detective work relies on one basic assumption. People make mistakes. But HK is the kind of monster who doesn't make mistakes. Only reason we even caught him tonight was because he finished what he had set out to do all along.
So was my client on the list of suspects before tonight?
Weren't you listening? There was no list of suspects.
We questioned some X's, a few eyes, CIs. CIs. Someone even spoke to one or two unlisted at some point. Nothing came of it. There was talk about starting on some kind of psych eval or something, but I never expected much to come of that. There's just not enough there to work with.
In other words, the only thing they have, the only thing they could have to link my client to those killings is the murder weapon. If I can jostle that keystone, then the rest of their case should start to come loose as well. And this is one that I didn't actually see get pinged in the playthrough I watched. So this is one that I have no idea what we're going to find out. By the way, I couldn't help but notice that you're light on staff.
3 in the morning. Are you expecting a parade?
I thought there'd at least be a few androids around.
Aren't many androids in any police station this week. Not while the brass is renegotiating contracts.
Contracts of Noble?
Good guess.
Hardly, they're the biggest.
Hardly. They're the biggest robotics core there is. Spend all day in Center City without leaving their office's shadow.
Yes, we're very fortunate to have them headquartered here.
Saves us some money on shipping at least. But these talks never last that long. I'm sure they'll be back to writing checks for noble ads by the end of the month.
Even with Noble pushing those new warm androids.
Warm. Yeah. May as well just call it the adult line.
Might see him in bigger departments or out on patrol, but not around these offices. Warm or cold, there's no such thing as an android detective. Yet.
I'm just saying 2049's already passed. They should have been here by now.
Yet? You really think that'll happen?
We already use ads for patrolling, securing the scene, pacifying crowds. Doesn't seem like that big of a stretch to me.
You're joking, right? Android detectives? All the pain we go through getting witnesses to talk to us?
With your warm personality, I can't imagine.
A cop knocks on your door, starts asking questions. You're gonna be put in a bad mood.
Yeah, because there's a way that all cops knock. So much so it's called the cop knock, and never makes anyone happy.
An ad knocks on your door, calls you degenerate criminal in a synthesized voice loud enough for the whole neighborhood to hear. You're gonna start posting shit that'll get you put on a list.
Well, we certainly don't want that. But flesh and blood witnesses are becoming less and less common anyway. Cameras, sensors, satellites, we already get all of our facts from machines. But a few more years, it might make sense to let machines do the investigating too.
The union would. The police union wouldn't let that happen. Cops have unions?
Yes, they are actually very big in the Teamster circles.
Yeah, they are.
Mm-hmm. She even specified it's the only real union there is anymore.
Ah, this is the horrible future.
Thanks for the chat, detectives. I think I understand the background well enough now. Candidly, I see the same strokes you do, and the picture it paints isn't pleasant. But even so, it seems a bit unrefined to be brought before a judge, don't you think?
Hey, it's only our job to catch the bastard. The DA is the one who gets the conviction. Besides, we're not exactly gonna have to work hard to convince anyone of his guilt.
And why is that?
Because we found a handwritten confession at his desk.
Well, that's, unexpected?
You're fucked!
I'm sorry, you're telling me that he wrote a confession. Has it been verified?
Not yet. We have to muscle past everyone in fraud and disinfo to get to the front of that line.
Why bother? The note's covered in his fingerprints.
There's a copy in the discovery data, but I should warn you. It doesn't exactly make for light reading.
I'll have to message someone. I need to see this confession for myself. Sorry for everything. Can't say it enough. Didn't mean to hurt you or do what I did. Did not want any of this to happen. Can't stay in control when I get mad. When I'm not in control, I hurt people without meaning to. I wish I hadn't broken them. Didn't mean to do it at first. But I was hurting. Wanted you to hurt too, but I didn't want to hurt you. Words aren't enough. I know that now. I'll take responsibility and do what I've been avoiding. Please forgive me. That was difficult to read. Barely legible, in fact.
Well, gotta spit on that?
No need.
But it's a confession.
Not a confession that he signed, though, is it?
Not yet.
And not one he intends to sign anytime soon, considering that he asked for representation.
Yeah, the most wanted man in the city asked for a lawyer, and got you. Guess you're both lucky.
Hardly. I just happened to be awake when the call went out. But I'm not so flush with work that I can afford to turn tail now. So if you don't mind, I'd like to go and speak with my client. What? He's not still handcuffed in there, is he?
Look, counselor, with all due respect, we have strong evidence pointing to that man being responsible for 6 murders. 2 hours or so in cuffs isn't cruel or unusual. That's for your safety as well.
It's kind of you to worry, but I doubt I'll be in any danger.
He's killed 6 women.
None of them were redheads. Seriously, though, I'd like to speak to him alone now. Camera's off, if you don't mind.
Mic's on or off is your call, counselor. But we'll be watching the feed from right outside in case anything happens. And the cuff, that is to say, stays on.
That worried about me. How chivalrous.
Yeah, my armor's practically blinding.
Gross. I'll start up the unlock cycle.
Counselor, just one last word of advice. If you have any interest in his well-being, I'd suggest you help him sign that confession.
Not a bad idea. I do get paid either way. But the defense part of defense attorney isn't just for show, detective.
I mean it. Six people dead is one thing, but he's also caused weeks of widespread terror and public unrest. Putting it another way, he's made the state look bad. That's a capital crime, if there ever was one. And even if the death penalty is not actually on the table these days, I can guarantee he's not gonna like whatever rehabilitation plan they draw up for him. Look, I've seen the virtual work release program in person, and it's
Being challenged before the Supreme Court.
yeah, sometime in the next decade, maybe. Just remember, a plea deal might feel like a loss for you, but if it keeps him from, well, that's probably a win for your client, right?
sentences are generally lightened for those who plead guilty, that much is true. It saves the court a great deal of time and money, and they show their gratitude with reduced sentencing. But no one will ever be grateful towards the Heartbreak Killer. Anyone convicted for killing 6 people, they'll never rest their minds another day in their life. Okay, so this is one of the last 2, people who talks the most. Who wants him?
I could do it.
Sure.
Alright. It's depressing as hell in here. They need to liven this place up. Carlos Flat, right? Hope you don't mind if I get comfortable. We've got a lot to cover, but this shouldn't take all night.
What are you? Look, I already told you people. I didn't.
I'm not a cop, Carlos. Furthest thing from it. I'm a lawyer. Your lawyer, in fact. And I'm here to help you.
Yeah, well, they said that too. All of them did. Back there, in here, kept repeating it the whole ride over. They said that they were going to help me, that they knew this was all a mistake. And then they said that I killed. Acting like they were on my side, and they thought that I could have...
It's not their job to help you, Carlos. But it is mine. And I'm here now. He's still in shock. I need more information, but if I approach this the wrong way, he'll just clam up even more. I'm sure you're exhausted. It's probably difficult to think, let alone speak. But I'd like you to try and answer a few questions.
Police already...
Questioned you, I'm sure. But they were treating you as a suspect, not as a client.
Okay. So what do you want to know?
Let's start simple, something mundane, grounded, rote. I'd like to know a bit more about you first, Carlos. Something like, what line of work are you in?
I'm with City Engineering. Or I was, or I should be.
As I thought, the police must be convinced he mapped the optics blackouts using data he stole from work.
My arm, I got slotted for the job. And,
Carlos, I'm gonna need more than that. So what do I know? He works in city engineering, not a desk job. Reyes said he was modded for work, and that arm must be in custody at the moment, but based on his shoulder, it had to be pretty utilitarian. Yeah, doesn't strike me as the type who's enamored with the aesthetic of modding. The young, the restless, and the rich, swapping in neon and chrome limbs because they like the way it looks. Or the way it makes other people start looking at them. Now he's pragmatic, grounded, and very unlucky. In which case, I should be too. You know, my brother wanted to mod.
really?
Really? I don't even have a brother. He had everything planned out, a whole career path of promotions and bonuses, and the upgrades they'd afford him. Then came his 18th birthday present, test results, politely informing him that he's not a viable candidate.
That sucks.
I think he felt relieved, actually. Seemed like it was a weight off his chest. Like he was glad that he didn't have to choose. Does that make any sense?
Yeah, I think it does. I always figured if I'd start at all, I'd start small. hand or eye, test the water. Never thought about lobbing my whole damn arm off, but the recruiter was. Enthusiastic. He said, because the NCDA, there was financial aid and resources. Of course, they got shit canned. So now me and every other modder is royally screwed. Couldn't even let me keep the tax credit.
The new Citizens with Disabilities Act was amended, not repealed. I doubt he'd appreciate the distinction at the moment.
I worked the tighter spaces, the high vault environments, mostly canopy upkeep. Typical stuff for modders, you know?
Speaking freely now, don't need to do much more than repeat his words back at him to keep him talking. But the right word choice here, there, can still make a difference. You work on the canopy, you must be. I'm gonna go with this one because it's unlocked. I think it's because we actually read the canopy thing earlier. Under a lot of... You must be under a lot
Yeah, I
of
think
pressure.
that came. Sorry. Yeah, I think you got that one because you read the article, so it's a little bonus.
You must be under a lot of pressure now the subways are cordoned off.
Damn straight, and this crap with Long? Once word got out that the case against him was real, every desk job in the chain became terrified of their own shadow. All of them convinced that international affairs is gonna come knocking if they misplace so much as a paperclip. Everything by the book means no room for compromise, no room for problem solving.
No room for engineering.
Yeah. And no patience for screw-ups.
He's trying very hard not to look at his shoulder. Why aren't you wearing your prosthetic right now, Carlos?
Yeah, that. Rejection issues starting last month. A lot of sleepless nights.
Rejection? Did the therapy not take?
It's not like that. Wasn't oozing pus out of my sockets or anything.
Then do these rejection issues have anything to do with your scars?
Not in the way that you're thinking. I'm right-handed.
So those cuts on his face are just... from shaving.
Never thought this go on so long. I'd have to relearn how to do everything. I mean, the problem started small, trembling, but then spasms. Just oversensitivity, they said. An easy fix.
But the problem got bigger.
Couldn't let it get that far. You need to be able to trust your own hands when you're on the job site. Drop a cutter at the wrong moment and people could get hurt. So I sat down, made an appointment, turned in my arm, and watched my case get placed at the back of the damn line.
Where did you turn it in?
Some mass turnaround shop with a waiting list like you wouldn't.
Doesn't sound like you're a happy customer.
Oh, hell no. I've found a dozen other clinics with shorter wait times. But as long as I'm renting and not owning.
The manufacturer decides where your arm gets maintenance.
That's why I'm sitting here with this expensive ass stump for a shoulder. Haven't been able to work in weeks. Bosses were generous enough to say my position might still be there when I've got 2 working arms again.
You couldn't buy or rent a replacement for yourself? Just in the meantime?
serve at the pleasure of the state. And they've got exclusivity contracts with Hindi, all locked up white knuckle tight.
Hindi? How Industries? As I recall, he's registered one of their hapless models.
If I took one step on site with uninsured tech, forget the fines. I'd lose the down payment and my arm. Would I never work in the city again? If this was last quarter, maybe I could have worked something out with management, but... like I said, no one's sticking their neck out for anyone now that longs in hot shit.
You mentioned discomfort. Are you in pain?
Pain will come and go, but the itches that kill you. And the phantoms come back pretty fast when I don't have anything. Arm shaped attached to me.
Did they give you something to, well, wear in the meantime? Something that clinics lend out for cases like this?
What they gave me is a deadweight, 3-jointed, flan-filled bait piece of shit. Sorry, it's a very shitty feeling having a part of your body that you know they cut corners on. It fits, it's compatible, technically. I can slot it in and feel on balance again. The fingers don't even bend. The quick twitch motors are way off. It's like walking around with your arm asleep, or dead.
So were you wearing it when... You know what, this guy's still in shot. I'm gonna go with you were arrested.
Good call.
Were you wearing it when you were arrested?
No, I wasn't. But I'm pretty sure I saw the police bagging it as evidence, so... And I've gotten too far.
So Detective Reyes was being quite literal about how he was found. He had the victim's blood on his left arm only, because at the time in question he didn't even have a right. No inconsistencies in the story so far, and he's opened up about as well as he can be expected. But this has all just been a warm-up for the both of us. Now comes the delicate part. Also, hey Zan, thanks for the birthday wishes. Carlos, you and the victim were romantically involved. How long did you two know each other?
Right.
And yes, Bub, it's my birthday, sorry. I don't really do birthday streams, so, yeah.
I've known her since college. We shared a few classes, some mutual friends. Always got along. Eventually, we just got together at some point. Guess I never actually asked her out the real formal way. Sounds pretty cowardly saying that out loud. Dan, she was in genetics. Focused her studies on agriculture.
It always takes them a few tries to get used to the past tense.
Just finished her post-grad work this year. Got hired right out the gate. Practically headhunted. You believe that? Practically headhunted. Of course, she was... Any company'd be lucky to have her, unlike... It was a real-ass job. Paid real-ass money, too.
So her career was starting to pan out, right as yours had fallen into the mother of all slumps. Where was she hired?
Pedigree? No. Peregree Laboratories. Say that like the name matters. The whole setup's under Harco's umbrella.
That doesn't narrow it down. The Harvest Corporation grows a third of the soybeans and corn in the entire country. One client that size, the lab wouldn't need any others. Now, no corporation earns the mega prefix without a little throat cutting, but Harco's about as unsexy as big business can get. Predictable like the seasons, no one's gonna buy that they had some lab tech murdered because of corporate greed. Has she adjusted well to a new job?
Yeah, they loved having her there.
She never mentioned arguments or disputes, corporate politics getting rough?
I don't think so. Not like I've been a good listener lately. But I never got the impression that she... Look, no one I know could do this to her. And there's nothing she could have done that would have deserved what happened to her.
It was a long shot, hoping for a disgruntled character from her past to shift blame onto. But with no other suspects, I can't just reshuffle the detective's suspicions. Also, I just realized I did not turn alerts back on, so give me 1 second here. Doing all the things I have to do, but thank you for the sub, Bubba. And the birthday wishes. Okay, 1 second here. But with no other suspects, I can't just reshuffle the detective's suspicions. I'll have to disprove their arguments entirely. Thank you, Carlos. That was very helpful.
It was?
Now, I'd like you to try and tell me whatever you can about what happened tonight.
Uh-oh.
Start at the beginning and take your time. The details are important.
All right, Miss,
Morgan,
I'll try Morgan.
when you're ready.
We were arguing. We had been arguing a lot lately. Arguing about stupid stuff. I haven't been working, haven't been making money. Haven't been pulling my weight. I was mad at myself. But more than that, I was jealous of her. Jealous over nothing. Jealous over goddamn money.
Reports say you were arguing around 8 p.m.
8? Must have been when we started. We got into it and I said a lot of things that I shouldn't have. And I said one thing that I really, really shouldn't have. Crossed a line. We both knew it, so I left.
You left.
Yeah. Walked out the front door. Thought some fresh air might help me cool off. Help me figure out what to say to make it up to her. Of course, the air wasn't fresh, just humid, thick like mud. And while I was pissing away time, Diane was...
Did you bring your phone with you, or any other electronics?
No. I kinda stormed off. Didn't even take my key fobs. Didn't even lock the door behind me.
With optics down, traffic and street-level cameras won't help him. That leaves... Did you go through a checkpoint, or talk to anyone with modded eyes? Did you buy anything, cash or credit?
No, not even a vending machine.
Not even a damn vending machine, huh? I may have met my match. How can anyone be this unlucky? That's quite unfortunate.
I really wanted quiet at the time. Wanted to wallow in it, really. Sorry if I don't have all the details quite right. My head is... But if my exact route would help, the cams probably... What? What is it?
And then they explain.
Optics was what? Can that even happen?
And there's no other proof you were out at the time Diane was killed. Meaning you've got no alibi.
This isn't... This can't... Listen, I didn't do this. I couldn't...
Carlos, I'm the one person you don't have to try and convince. After all, I'm your lawyer. So let's just get it all out there and see what we've got to work with.
Right.
Now, you said you left to clear your head. So what made you come back?
I came back because I heard a noise. A loud noise. Didn't know what it was. But it was loud. It scared me. And it came from the direction of our apartment. I was walking back at first. But at some point I must have started running because when I got back I was so out of breath. And when I saw the front door was open, something dropped in my chest and my lungs wouldn't.
You live on the first floor, right?
Yeah, first floor apartment, street facing entrance. We were proud of that when we first moved in. Like it was some kind of big deal. From the hallway, I saw her, but I didn't realize. I never thought that she was... The lights were off, the whole room was a mess. I thought we had been robbed, or she had fallen, or... There was broken glass, furniture knocked over. And she was... I called her name and she didn't move. I checked her pulse and she was still warm. Her blood was warm. And I saw...
The gun.
It looked so heavy. But I thought it had to be fake because I didn't want it to be real.
Is that why you picked it up?
What? Pick it up? I didn't touch that thing. I didn't shoot her, damn it!
Doing what I do, you hear a lot of lies. White lies, blatant lies, hasty lies. Bad lies, especially. For me, it's always been easy to spot a lie. But it can be hard to know what to do about it. I have all the proof I need in my files, but he's nervous and defensive. And none of this works if he doesn't trust me. Stay up to date on the details of evidence by checking your phone. If your clients notice that you don't know what you're talking about, they'll stop giving you any credit. You did touch the gun, Carlos. That's just a fact because... And now we'll check the evidence because we haven't checked any of the evidence so far. So as you can see, we got the pill organizer, and we could read through all this, but if we do... Okay, let's see if it's on the revolver. A caliber M54 6-chambered 10mm revolver bears fingerprints matching Carlos Backer Flat's left hand with 99.91% certainty. Rifling marks match the bullets which pierced the victim with 99.97% certainty. Rifling marks match the bullets from previous heartbreak killings with a 99.98-99.989% certainty. No matches to any other archive forensic data as far back as that. So then we check out what our options were, which would be your prints. It's a fact that your fingerprints are on that gun.
What? But I didn't do this. I wasn't thinking. I was just...
Carlos, all I'm saying is you picked it up. That's all.
Would you believe me if I said I didn't realize it was a gun?
30 years of actually safe gun laws can make it so people don't recognize gunshots or recognize guns first off. That explains how his prints got on the gun. but not in a way that would satisfy the police. Still, if all he did was hold the gun...
It's so stupid. I know what a gun looks like. But seeing it with in my own home right in front of...
You were in shock, Carlos. You still are.
Police came in sometime after that. I don't remember much of what they said. Things started moving fast, it seemed like. The rest of my night went probably the way you'd expect.
Carlos, you admit to having a verbal argument with Diane, but you said you were surprised to see the room trashed when you got back. To clarify, you're saying that you two never had a physical fight.
What? Physical? We never fought. We never fought like that. Did the police say that we did?
They assumed as much. Which means they also assumed that the room was disheveled well before the shooting occurred. Considering what Carlos has told me, what else did they assume?
What is it?
I'd like you to take a look at something for me. The crime scene.
Oh.
It's an AR module built from the data taken as the police entered, so...
Right. It's just that...
I also love his sprite right here. It looks like... It has so much of the, like, golden retriever energy in the eyes.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's just data, Carlos. No grisly details.
Okay. Let me see it.
Take your time.
All right. I think I've got it.
That's how the police found things. Now close your eyes and think back to how the room looked when you left. Try and focus on what's out of place.
All right.
I'll take notes, you just say whatever comes to mind.
I don't remember exactly where everything was. But, well, the mirror was upright, of course. And that clock was still on the wall. The chair got knocked over at some point, and the bed got tossed, the cushions torn. The urn fell. Other than that... No, sorry, that's all that stands out to me.
Wait, urn?
The vase.
Oh, well, we'll say an urn is like specific.
Yeah.
And they said that substance was on the ground in front of the bookshelf. That's someone's ashes.
Yeah.
Well, no, they said that was ceramic, so it's not ashes if it's ceramic. But I will say this: we'll soon find that we already know he's not dealing with a full deck. We'll soon see that while he's good-natured, he's not that bright. I see, like so. What's wrong? Something out of place? Carlos, you need to trust your instincts. If anything seems off, don't be afraid to speak up.
It's just, I guess I just assumed your notes would be making edits to the AR.
Well, I suppose that works too.
Sorry, I didn't mean... I think your drawing was pretty good, considering...
I'd like to change the subject now, Carlos.
Right.
Let's talk about the letter that was found on your desk.
Letter? What do you mean?
I mean this letter here. Do you recognize it? Because the police are calling it a confession.
A confession? But this is just a note to self.
Pardon?
Look, when we fight, I lose my temper. I say things I don't mean to. So this morning I tried writing things down so I'd have a script to stick to. Oh God, what a mood. So I could apologize to her instead of just fighting with her.
Carlos, you say in the note that you hurt them.
That's I. Oh no, that's so hard to read. I'm so sorry. Give me 2 seconds.
Yeah, I know.
Does that read I broke her fidget?
Yep, her fidget
Tubbies.
tubbies.
Okay.
Her what? Ahem.
Oh my god, he broke her fidget toys.
Her what?
Her fidget tubbies. Oh my god. They're these collectible ceramic character things. They're supposed to be like tactile. You use them as paperweights or conversation starters.
Conversation starters?
Oh my god, he was dating a weeb. she loved those little things. They're not worth a damn. You can buy them at any flea market or garage sale, but they meant a lot to her. And I broke them. I mean, I was pissy at the time, but that goddamn piece of shit rental arm, I hardly know where I'm swinging at half the time. I got so angry, I just ripped it off and tossed it in my room. That cheap, dusty, worthless.
Okay, let's say he did break her fidgy duckies with his replacement arm.
Frigid duckies. Crying.
Trust me, we're gonna have fun with this. What does that change? Nothing at the moment. There's not enough detail in the note for me to prove what his intent was when he sat down to write it. But the police insist on claiming it's a confession for the heartbreak killings anyway.
Couldn't even bother to sweep him up. I felt so...
Alright, Carlos, thanks for answering my questions. Now, I'm going to call the police back in here, and I'm going to get this cleared up for you.
What? That's it?
That's it.
Oh, okay.
Although, before I do that, I do have to ask. What do you know about the Heartbreak Killer?
Heartbreak? You mean that psycho that was trending all month? I mean, as much as anyone, I guess. I haven't been getting out much, but I'm sure everybody's on edge. A guy like that out there. He shoots people through the heart, right?
Police put the victim's appearance far away from any upstanding news sources. So unless he was already following the murders, Carlos wouldn't notice any resemblance to his girlfriend.
I mean, she was shot in the chest, but that doesn't mean anything, does it?
If he's this slow on the uptake, it's going to be a real shock when those officers walk in here and accuse him of being a serial killer. I'll just have to squash that theory as quickly and definitively as possible.
I didn't realize you could smoke in here. Wait, is that in the mug?
Yep. The mug's empty.
Oh, okay.
Technically, I can smoke wherever I want. For a fee. I just love this here.
I guess so.
Nervous? Don't be. I'm the one who's on the clock.
Right, I'm sure this isn't your first time doing this.
No, of course not. It will be my first homicide defense, though.
Oh.
Why does everyone always think the first time's so goddamn important? Hey, cheer up. I've got relevant experience in other areas.
Oh. And, what areas are those?
You ever gamble, Carlos?
No, ma'am. I never go anywhere near loot boxes.
Oh my god.
Won't touch the stuff.
I meant more like playing cards.
Oh, well then, no to that too. I've actually got pretty terrible luck.
We've noticed!
Yo.
Could have fooled me.
I can't even play the Pokemon card game.
Well, what I do is a lot like poker, Carlos. Poker's nice because even if you're dealt nothing but crap all night long,
Poker what?
you can still win. Which makes things pretty fun.
Okay, so, do you have a good poker face?
I like to think so.
And are you lucky?
Only when the stakes are high.
And, in this metaphor, we're playing poker. And the state's the dealer?
If only! No, the state's more like the house.
You mean like the house always wins?
Yes. They're very good at it. Winning, I mean. That's why they're up there and we're down here. That's why they're the house.
So what do we do?
We play the cards we're dealt as best we can, win more hands than we lose, keep it up, and eventually someone will come over and tap the dealer on the shoulder and whisper something in their ear. And then we'll be politely asked to leave.
That doesn't sound very triumphant.
The house always wins. So our definition of victory is more like, don't lose.
Grab the money and run.
Thanks, Morgan. But I guess I was more asking, like, what should I say?
Just leave all the talking to me.
So that's the strategy. He looks so enthused. What's up?
You know, there's a saying about gamblers with strategies.
Yo, ready to confess yet? Because I already woke up the DA.
Already, she must be new. The district attorney have final say on whether or not a case is brought to trial. Only fair, since they're the ones who end up having to actually prove the damn thing. Most of them prefer simple guilty pleas over long, protracted trials. And they all dislike having their time wasted. Unfortunately, then you'll have to call them back. Because my client is not guilty. And frankly, I'm not even sure you have enough to hold him here.
Right. What she said.
You've got a weird sense of humor, counselor. Different generations, I guess. Before my time, kind of thing.
Oh my fucking god.
I'm very serious when it comes to defending a man's innocence, detective. This one's you again, Saris.
Counselor, we have your client's written confession.
His written confession. Let's start there.
Okay, we'll
be happy to.
The thrust of every argument starts with the facts. What's already known and agreed upon. Public knowledge for every player at the table.
Pretty simple, counselor. Real paint by the numbers stuff. Okay, I'm seeing more of the Danganronpa now. See, we found a note at his apartment. With his fingerprints on it. Apologizing for how he hurt them all so bad. Now, how are you planning on spinning that?
Those are the facts. But I've been building up my hand all night. And now I've got the weapons to answer anything they try to throw at me.
Well,
My client did write the note, and it was an apology. But not for murder. He was apologizing for Analyze the facts that are laid out, then thumb through the responses in your hand. Drag and drop the card that best answers the argument on the right. You can mouse over your opponent for a reminder on what key point is. So as you can see, he wrote the confession. Okay. Ah yes, here we go.
Oh, that's the debris of the toys.
Yeah, I know, I'm trying to... So I've never actually controlled the game, so okay. Just simply apologizing for this.
The hell is that?
I found myself asking the exact same question.
What are we looking at here? Something from the crime scene.
This diagram of the room is created from data you captured, right?
Pure non-GMO augmented reality crime scene data, yeah.
It's non-GMO.
Not much these days. Ba-da-da-da-da-da.
Notice anything out of place?
Yeah, the whole room's full of busted shit. It's the scene of a murder.
Full of busted shit for sure! But I was more referring to the unidentified ceramic debris found on the western side of the room.
The hell is that?
Ceramic debris, huh? Must be from the vase that got tossed.
Actually, that's not possible.
Oh?
Because that vase wasn't damaged. It's not possible for the debris to have come from the vase. Because the vase is still pristine.
How is that?
How is that possible? The ladies at the garage sale told me that it was so old and delicate. Damn it, the one time I try and thrift shop on my own.
Well, so what? What does it even matter?
If the vase doesn't have a scratch on it.
And the debris must have come from somewhere else. That debris is what my client wrote the apology over.
You're saying that confession was apology for not vacuuming?
I am, because that pile of rubble is all that remains of the victim's collection of Fidgy Bob. Fidget tack.
Fidget tubbies.
What he said.
The shift in the music just for that line.
Mr.
Also the genuine sincerity in his, like, earnest sprite of, like, the fidget tubbies, man!
Mr. Flat broke the victim's ceramic figures by accident. And this impassioned note to self was just his attempt at scripting out an apology.
Can you prove that?
We're taking this seriously?
As much as I wish we weren't. We're all in agreement that my client wrote the notes. And we can all plainly see there's ceramic debris at the crime scene. Now, since it couldn't have come from the vase, it must have come from the collectibles. Simple, right?
The hell are you on about? The entire room was trashed, as the arcs clearly shows. Those fidget tubbies must have been pulverized during the struggle too. You're really gonna claim he sat down to write an apology for breaking her toys after gunning her down?
Not a bad train of thought, but I can do better. No, those collectibles were destroyed much earlier than that. And there's proof. Oh yeah, this is the replacement arm, so as you can see why he really did not like it.
Yeah. Oh, geez.
Yeah, sorry. The way that I have to mouse over and they show all the stuff. Let's take a closer look at the rental you took into custody. One swipe of your finger should show exactly how devastating it is. One swipe of your finger should show exactly how devastating it was to the fickle buddy ecosystem.
It's fidget tubbies. Oh god, she collects them too.
Whatever. You did take it into custody. I'm sure your techs found the ceramic debris on it, yes?
Now that you mention it.
Fine, whatever. He broke them with his arm. While he was killing her. Happy?
Overjoyed because...
Because even a cheap arm's got an operating system that logged the last time it was worn, right?
Right.
See, I happened to spot a footnote on the lab report. Said that rental hadn't been used since the AM.
Whose side are you on, old man?
It's gotten pretty late, sunshine. Just trying to save us some time where I can.
Well, thank you for your service.
Well, thank you for your service! Are you seriously buying this crap? Just look how scrawled, how panicked that note is. You expect me to believe he was that upset over a fidget tubby collection? One that hasn't even been graded?
Setting aside Detective Rey's surprising depth of knowledge when it comes to collectibles, you're correct, they had held no real monetary value. It would be odd for Carlos to be so shaken over their loss. But so what?
So what?
After all, that's not panic you're seeing on that page. No, the only reason the note looks the way it does is because Carlos is right-handed. Because Carlos is right-handed.
Yeah. Yes, I am. Did they not know that? Shouldn't that be on my permanent record or something?
So the reason why that note looks all asylum wall scribbles...
It's just because he had to use his left hand to write it.
I tend to think better writing than typing. And I need to get used to using my left anyway. I just thought it could be good practice. Taking that into account, alongside the ceramics.
Your slam dunk confession is looking about as watertight as fishnet.
Damn. Okay, fine. Forget about the confession. Congratulations, counselor. You've established that your client's remorseless. Now let's get back to the reality of the situation. Here are the facts. We found your client at the scene of the crime, wearing a coat covered in the victim's blood. Right next to a big old goddamn gun that just so happened to have his fingerprints on it.
That's right, that note is.
What, you're gonna claim it's not his, that he actually wears an extra small?
He's trying to fake me, in your typical low-key fashion. As the arguments flow, you won't always have the stronger hand. Sometimes, the best you can do is hold your tongue and avoid overcommitting. Take as little damage as possible and wait for more favorable chances. You must have something, no sense playing it. Something you'd like to ask me, Detective?
I'm just curious, what'll it be next? You gonna tell me he actually wears an extra small?
Ah, welcome, robot. We are a public defender trying to get a man off from being labeled as the one serial killer that's able to exist in the year 2086. Okay, I can't raise, so I guess I can only just fix it. Gee, Carlos, do you...
No.
Okay, yes. Sorry, you were lighting up, so I wasn't sure if your mic was having problems.
Yeah, sure there's no evil twin you've forgotten to mention?
gonna. Oh, that's you.
I'm not even gonna go for mysterious third party at the scene of the crime.
Prove his innocence, I'll need to get there eventually. We're going there now without hard evidence. Okay, no, we can't prove third party. I have no evidence of a third party at this time.
Damn right you don't. Clear as day in the arcs. No evidence of anyone but Carlos being there that night. So keep dreaming. Uh-oh.
Luckily, we banked up a lot of credit. It was obvious she had something there. I wasn't going to win that hand either way. But at least I didn't overstep and take any more damage than I had to. We're not contesting any of that, Detective. My client freely admits to holding that gun. Picked it up in confusion after coming home to find a brutal crime scene. Which was not smart.
Hey.
But not illegal either.
And that's all. He had her blood all over his clothes.
Yes, he did.
Right.
Do you have those clothes on hand, by the way?
The lab finished with them a while ago. Echo.
Oh yeah. What are you getting at?
They'll be easier just to show you. Would you mind getting them for me?
You know what? Sure, I could use the fresh air. Think some bullshit in here anyway.
And here I thought the room smelled like... Psst. Morgan! What are you doing? My coat's covered in her blood. I remember that much. So doesn't that, like, make me look really bad?
Just relax, Carlos.
I'm pretty sure that's impossible.
You're innocent. And that means that having more evidence will always help you, not hurt you.
Really?
Really. Not really. Plenty of innocent people in prison. People with bad luck. Or bad lawyers. People shouldn't count on the truth to come out easy. More often than not, it takes coaxing.
What was it that reminded me of?
Alright, here it is. One blood-stained jacket, fresh from the lab. So what's your angle? You're gonna tell us this is actually just hot sauce?
No. That would be silly.
She actually thought it over.
So what the hell's your point?
Sorry, just got thrown off by the turn of good fortune.
What good fortune?
You should thank the detective for bringing you your jacket, Carlos. She's just proving your innocence. My client was arrested wearing this coat. He wouldn't have been wearing it at the time of the murder. He would have been wearing it at the time of this murder. Has the victim's blood on it, who we know died when she was shot in the heart by a gun that happens to be an old-world pre-tagging firearm.
And
So this coat proves he couldn't have been the shooter.
there's gas leak in here? In what world does that make any sense?
Since having stayed true here, I just need to draw their attention to what they can. So we've got smell, feel, or see. I know what the answer is. I want to see what you guys think.
They're making references to the smell earlier, so I'm thinking it's smell?
I also think it's smell.
Right on the money. Do me one favor, detective. Tell me what you smell.
I don't smell anything except dried blood.
Exactly. That coat smells like blood. Blood doesn't smell like...
Cigarette. That's what I've been smelling.
Yes, Detective London, I was smoking earlier. Could you rejoin the conversation?
I've been listening. You wanted me to smell the jacket?
If you would.
Let's see. No gunpowder.
What? What about gunpowder?
Oh, don't blame yourself for not noticing. This was before your time.
You can't be more than a few years older than me.
I love that their dynamic is just that. But not before your partners, it seems. See, gunpowder's weak by today's standards, but still volatile stuff, hard to store, prone to misfiring. And when it goes bang, it leaves behind an awful lot of evidence.
The hell is she talking about, London?
Modern firearms like the ones we carry use electricity, magnetism, even air pressure or sound waves. They've got more accuracy, more firepower, less recoil, less noise. And they don't leave behind any residue.
Gunpowder residue?
You talked my ear off about how difficult it is tracking down a gun that doesn't leave any digital traces. But a revolver like this one, it leaves gunpowder on the skin of whoever fired it for days.
So then his coat?
If you don't trust your nose, you can check the lab reports. I think they'd have found any gunpowder on my client or his clothes. They'd have taken time to highlight it.
Well, whatever. That just means he washed it off after shooting or he changed his clothes.
That's not impossible. But it would be pretty pointless.
Huh?
His jacket and his left hand were blood-soaked when your officers found him. Would he really go through all the effort to get rid of something as subtle as gunpowder residue, just to get the victim's blood all over himself afterwards? In light of these details, I'd like to formally request that you reconsider the charges Mr. Flatt is facing as soon as possible.
Whoa.
They're faltering now. Should topple over at any moment. The letter was mostly icing on the cake for them. That gun is all they had to link Carlos to any of the shootings. So if it looks like he never actually fired the gun, I'll admit things were a little dicey there at times. But once I was able to grasp the situation, the smaller pieces fell into place easily enough. Not my cleanest work by far, but overall I'd say... Did she get a message?
Wait, did they actually manage to find it?
Something you'd like to share, Detective Reyes?
You're good. Twisting the truth into knots, making the facts work for you.
Thanks.
But your luck just ran out. Because the net scrubbers found the cam active at the exact moment of the shooting, and right now, I'm staring at a photo of the killer.
Wanna bet? A photo of the shooter? If she had that, we wouldn't still be talking. But I doubt she's just pulling this out of her ass. She's got something from the scrubbers. Let's see what her options are. She must have something. I'm gonna stay on this one. I'm not sure I follow, Detective. Been we establish that there was an optics blackout during the shooting?
Sure, there was. But this isn't from optics.
Good thing I held my tongue. Because I thought the scrubbers must have managed to dig up something from outside the network. Which means...
Party's over, counselor. Feast your eyes on this!
Dun, dun,
Oh my god, it's Henry Stickmin!
Well. Okay, the quality is lacking. And yet there it is. They managed to find a quarter needle and a quarter needle of evidence in a whole city block of haystacks. What are the goddamn chances? No, with this scale their tools operate on, I guess the chances are, as always, in their favor. Alright, this isn't good, but it's a far cry from worst case scenario I envisioned. You could even say I got lucky, which means the stakes are...
Well,
it's a little bit...
Laurie?
don't look at me, I didn't take the damn thing. Technically, no one took it. Looks like at the time of the shooting, a neighbor was on their phone.
Probably venting about how crazy the couple across the street was acting. But if their phone was on, its camera would be on.
And so we managed to get this shot through the window.
Where to begin? Far away, unfocused, ultra-low resolution, zoomed in, blurred, color shifted, and so compressed it looks like it's from another century.
And somehow, like, from the being shot angle. There are tools that could enhance
this image any further, and I could count the pixels on one hand. And you could kiss its admissibility in court goodbye. You can't honestly claim that you can identify my client from this image. And there's no way in hell you could get this past a judge.
Yeah, you're probably right. We couldn't. But I think I know a DA that could. Either way, it doesn't seem like your client's leaving this police station anytime soon. That photo. What the hell is happening to me?
Think I know a DA that could? Don't be so modest, old man. We have photo evidence of a left-handed shooter standing in the hallway at the same time the whole neighborhood heard a gunshot. And who do we know who had their left-hand fingerprints all over that gun?
You're referring to my client.
You think? We established he wasn't wearing his modded arm at all tonight. So he must have shot with his left.
Yes, and we've also established that he's weak with his left side. A left side that had no gunpowder whatsoever.
Forensics will never be perfect, counselor. Sometimes we miss things. Sometimes you take a walk through the rain, and when you finally get where you're going, you somehow end up dry. That doesn't mean it didn't rain. All of which is to say, before judge or jury, photographic evidence outweighs a failed sniff test.
Carlos is innocent. I know he is. That photo shows a left-handed shooter. Carlos is innocent. That photo is real. But both are true. And that means the photo doesn't show what it appears to show.
So, at a loss for words.
Never? I'm just confused about one thing. Where was this photo taken from exactly?
Exactly. Positional data is usually only accurate to the nearest public router. If we D in on the phone's owner and ask them where.
Why bother with any of that? ballistics and common sense tells that the perp shot from the door, from the room's doorway. Also, from the looks of that photo, it looks like they have a right arm.
Well, this was addressed when I saw someone play it. They don't show that they have a hand. They're basically saying that there could be an empty sleeve there that's just hanging limp.
The front entrance of the apartment faces to the south. There's a hallway that runs back to the bedroom. We're looking straight at the shooter, so it's pretty obvious it's been taken from across the north window. Oh.
From the north? If it's from the north, then why can't we clearly see the...
It's not that complicated. The neighbor who got the shot must live on the other side of the street. So we're looking into the bedroom from the north window.
If she's wrong, I should seize the opportunity and start turning the tide. So I guess we're probably going to get to see what happens when we raise. Photo was taken from the west. Okay. I'm afraid that's simply not possible, Detective. This photo has been taken from the west.
What kind of bluff is that supposed to be?
The good detectives are misinformed here, and I need to take advantage of it. Time to press the initiative.
The hell do you mean this was taken from the west?
The autopsy tells us the victim was shot from the doorway. Your officer's ARCS data tells us the precise location of everything in the room at the time they arrived. And now your photo shows the exact moment of the shooting.
And
you can now raise the ante on the hand up to the max. Answer wrong and you lose more cred, but answer correctly, and you can bank up more cred for trickier hands down the line. And altogether tell us this photo must have been taken through the west window, as long as you consider... Okay, I've got to the current max. I think it's base. So this is the only time this has come up, so I think it has to be this.
what was the fourth one?
The fourth one was the gun.
Ah.
Murder weapon linked to 5 other crimes, splats, fingerprints.
Gotcha.
The vase, cheap and durable, not even scratched. This is just victim's blood. This one I think is pretty easy because it's session 0, so...
Yeah.
Just take one look at the clock and photo.
The clock? What about it?
Block, huh?
Seems like London's got an idea. If he's mistaken, I could pounce on it and keep my tempo high.
The photo was taken right before the shooting, so... Wait, don't tell me the time of death isn't wrong.
Let's see here. He's right, the time of death could be wrong. Pretty sure we know that the time of death is actually correct, because there's only like an hour window because of the outage.
Yeah.
That's a good question, Detective London. But the answer's no. The autopsy, the clock, and the neighbors all agree the time of death was 9 p.m.
Right. No mistaking that.
So then what the hell are you on about?
There's a clock on the wall in this photo, analog style. And it reads 9 o'clock.
9 p.m., the time of the shooting. What else so special about that?
Nothing. There's nothing odd about the time the clock reads, but... Do you remember there being a clock in that room?
What?
Actually, I don't recall there being a clock.
That makes sense. You wouldn't recall seeing a clock. Because when the police secured the scene, the clock had already been knocked onto the floor.
And?
The only clock in that room is on the northeastern corner. And my client has informed me that before the crime, it was hung on the eastern wall. Like so.
What the hell is that supposed to be?
An artistic rendition.
Okay, Rukia.
It's very distinct.
If you had information how the crime scene was before the shooting, why didn't you just add that to the arcs?
And show you my hand? Just because discovery law compels us to share info, doesn't mean you have to play fair, detective. Slipped my mind. I'll do that now. The important thing is, that clock was on the eastern wall before the shooting occurred.
Then this photo must be looking through the western window to see it.
Don't start getting ahead of yourself. The victim was shot at 9 p.m. The same time this photo was taken of the shooter. But you want to claim the clock's still on the eastern wall when it could have been knocked down during the fighting?
You got your logic backward, detective. Your precious photo shows that the room was pristine at the time of the shooting. And there's one other piece of evidence that proves exactly how the Okay, so we know it's not the vase. This thing is just really ugly decoration. Okay? Gun doesn't prove anything. Here's something new. Ah. Yeah, that makes sense. Do you see what I'm seeing, Zako?
Yeah, but what's the last one?
It's the Fidget Tubby 3.
Okay. Don't forget you can max the bet too. Flash shards? What about them?
Nothing much, really. Only that they're on top of the victim's body. And not under it.
Glass fell on top of the victim's body. That would mean...
that she was dead on the ground before the room got trashed.
But that's...
That doesn't make any sense. Why would anyone trash the room afterwards?
It's a good question, Carlos. Luckily, it's the detectives who have to delve into the minds of the criminally insane, not us. Tell me, detectives, were there any signs of a struggle at any other crime scenes?
Other crime scenes? No, nothing like that. Those attacks would have been over in a matter of seconds.
So what did you think when you saw the mess in the bedroom?
This was personal and things had gotten complicated. Shit happens.
Shit does happen, detective. But in this case, it seems that there's been a general misconception about the order in which shit happened.
But what if the room didn't get tossed over until afterwards? He still shot her! And we have a photo right here!
And I'm glad you do, detective, because that photo proves my client's innocence.
Huh?
Proving that it wasn't my client who pulled the trigger is difficult, and maybe more importantly for all of us, time-consuming. Thanks to your photo, I can instead prove that it couldn't have been my client who pulled the trigger. Because the man in the photo can't possibly be Carlos.
Like hell it can't!
There we go. Flash shards prove the room was pristine at the time of the shooting. And we know that until the room was tossed, the clock was on the eastern wall. Which means this photo of the shooter was taken from the west.
Back to this shit, that's impossible! The only hallway in that apartment runs from the north to the south! The only person with prints on that gun is your client. And the only fact that matters is that he used it to murder 6 innocent people!
You're a very honest person, detective.
Excuse me?
That's why you're such a shitty gambler. You played your cards too early, and now I can steal the pot right out from under you. You're right about the hallway's orientation. You're right about the prince. And this HK figure has claimed 6 lives. But we aren't looking at the hallway in that photo.
What?
What we're seeing is... Well, it was a physical mirror. Worthless, sir!
Those are not worthless, they have sentimental value.
Also... Okay, so this doesn't tell us anything. He didn't wear his arm, so... What?
I'm definitely thinking it's the mirror.
You down for that, Saris?
Yeah.
What is that? Are you trying to glass shards again?
Sort of. By the way, do you recall where the glass shards came from?
Yeah, sure, they came from... From
a standing mirror. A mirror that, at the time of the shooting, stood across the room from the western window.
But then, that would mean...
At that angle, from that viewpoint.
At this time of day...
We come full circle! It would reflect the hallway. So we're not seeing a shooter with a gun in their left hand. We're seeing a killer take aim with their right arm. And as we all know, my client hasn't had a working right arm in a number of weeks. And he hasn't worn his rental since this morning. So I meant what I said about that photo. I'm glad it was recovered.
Oh wait, then the time was 3.
Because it just proved that my client couldn't possibly have committed this crime. That should be the end of it. Except it looks like Detective Reyes really is a novice gambler. Sunk cost has got his teeth in her now, clawing up her spine, whispering wounded pride in her ear. It's a cold sweat, hot palms kind of fever. The impotent, irrational fury of losing something you thought was guaranteed yours. But lucky for you, Detective, I'm well versed in shock therapy. You look dissatisfied, Detective Reyes.
That's one word for it.
Then allow me to put a nice bow on everything for you. In summary, my client's so-called confession was just a note to self. The police found him in a shot nearly at the death of his girlfriend and arrested him for being next to a gun for reasons he couldn't have found. After being confronted with these facts, we received photographic evidence of the exact moment of the shooting. And instead of utilizing said photo to track down the real killer, we tried to claim it to be my client, a man without the requisite limb, standing in an architecturally impossible hallway.
That's... You could have got a backup arm. You could have stolen one.
A little stubbornness can be charming with this kind of desperation is fun. It's getting late. Time to bear my back. And shoot her!
You're the only one! Sorry.
You're fine. That's the best you've got.
Oh, Lana, Robot says the game is overpowering you a little bit.
I know, I can't help it. I didn't realize the music was going to be this loud.
Gotcha.
Even a bare-bones prosthetic off the black market needs to be attuned to an individual's nervous system. He'd have to bring it to a clinic, which would have left a record of his on his shoulder OS. A record you won't find. We still have to somehow gotten rid of it before the police arrived. SOP at the scene of a violent crime calls for full spectrum scanning of an entire building and 100 meters around it minimum. So where, Detective Reyes, he managed to hide a cybernetic arm from your drones in the time between the shooting and his arrest? Well? Any objections? Detective.
God. Damn! It!
And yes, to answer your Runewalker, if things go on time, according to the devs' Twitter, the next episode should be out sometime in November. So if you want to get this demo, I would say wishlist the game on Steam, get the demo for free, and wait for the updates. I highly recommend it. It helps support the indie devs.
Show me your hand, Flat. You're uncuffing me? In light of the evidence, we have no reason to hold you.
Now I gotta call the DA and tell her I made a mistake.
Not we made a mistake, huh? Listen, kid, you should know.
Detective.
Lost my train of thought. But hey, your attorney's a real tiger. She just fought like hell for you.
No, she's a cougar.
God. Make sure you thank her properly. Public defense doesn't pay that well. Yeah.
She did it pro bono, though.
Well, no, she's a public defender. She's paid by the actual state. That's kind of you to say, Detective. But my work is my own reward.
Sure. I feel exactly the same, counselor. What happens now?
I'll have to speak to the DA about the dismissal, and there's still some paperwork we'll need to go through. But basically, you're free to go. Congrats! You get to leave the casino with your kneecaps intact.
Yay? But what am I supposed to do?
Detectives will continue their investigation.
Their investigation into heartbreak, huh?
Yes. When the authorities are satisfied with their examination of the body, she'll be handed over to next of kin. And then you can make funeral arrangements.
No, that's not what I... Diane being gone is bad enough. But a serial killer? It's like she died of the flu. It doesn't happen anymore.
People die of the flu all the time, but...
People die when they are killed.
We had to get something in here. I know what you mean.
I can't make sense of it. So what am I supposed to do?
Hell if I know. There's some contacts I could give you. Services, professionals, doctors.
No, you've done more than enough for me. When you got here, I was too tired to even defend myself to try and convince them that I didn't. You saved me. Thank you.
You're welcome, Carlos, but it's my job to...
No, I mean, thank you for not asking. For not asking if I killed her.
Oh, Carlos. I didn't need to ask. I knew you were innocent from the start. Of course he was. After all.
Nani?
What secrets do you have? Oh!
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 The blood's always different. Heart's always in the same place. Easy to find, hard to miss. But the blood's always different. A flowering stain unfurling towards an invisible sun. A perfect unique bloom, only one for each of us. A Rorschach test with singular universal meaning. Vitality at its climax. bursting forth into a red fractal consisting solely of an infinite the end. But the comical thud of a body hitting the floor has its own kind of lowbrow appeal.
Wait, what?
Welcome to the twist that was the reason why I really wanted to play this game and introduce it to you guys.
See why? Holy shit!
Bullet number 6 of 6. Gun's empty. It's useless to me now, may as well leave it. Feels like a waste, but whatever. Finding the ammo is almost enough of a hassle to outweigh the advantages. I could sell the untagged gun for a fair bit of cash. The cash can buy peace of mind. Oh, don't look so surprised, lady. Moping around the dark in here, I must have only been able to see my silhouette. Did you think I was the boyfriend back for an encore of that enthralling conversation? Can't ask her now. Hey. You hear that? These old pieces are so goddamn loud. And people aren't even familiar enough with the sound anymore to know to run the other way. Probably roused half the neighborhood. But I didn't see anything I could use as even a partial suppressor on the way in. Couldn't they really not afford some throw pillows? I used the other 5 bullets in outdoor spaces and small spheres of blind opportunity that the city's eyes couldn't think to pierce. Cramped places, usually full of trash. But this room, as cheap as it looks, is at least organized even. So the corpse adds a certain satisfying contrast. Except, there's shit on the floor. Right away there's broken pieces of something fragile and tacky. It's fine. It's just one thing out of place. Actually, it's not fine. It's actually really irritating. I kick over the stupid goddamn mirror. 5 perfect crime scenes, each of them not a speck of evidence, nothing to go on. And for the final shot, there just has to be some pile of shit in the corner ruining everything. I kick the wall. Something falls from it, probably more tasty bullshit. I toss over the chair, knock the urn, and tear into the sheets with my frustration and try to savor the shredding. If it can't be clean, I'll just have to lean into the messying. At least it'll be consistent. This was all so stupid. Honestly, I'm not the ego-driven type. In fact, I pride myself on my humility. Now, was it satisfying when the first 3 went down with single shots? Yes. But so what? I'm not made of stone. After that, I did start to actually aim for the heart, but... Heartbreak killer? Really? Don't people have anything better to do with their time? What kind of miserable, lifeless voyeurs would obsess over something that is none of their business?
Oh my god, I just realized something.
What?
Remember those little icons from the menus earlier where it was her face on a playing card?
Mm-hmm.
She was the king of hearts.
Yep.
All the threads and breakdowns and the goddamn theory crafting. And all for the heartbreak killer. Sounds like a soap opera villain. From a season where the writers were on strike. I feel insulted by the label, but no, that's someone else's name. They came up with it. They spread it. They market it. Heartbreak's got nothing to do with me. He's just some reclusive, lonely, socially impotent loser who shot 6 people because... Well, I'm sure people will come up with something. That he got rejected one too many times or whatever? Me, I killed those people because I saw them and I wanted to. And I've killed a lot more than just 6. At least the room is thoroughly trashed now. If I had just walked away after seeing the mess by the window, it would have irritated me to no end. And now that it doesn't match the MO of the last 5 perfectly, it'll irritate the cops to no end instead. Good riddance, Heartbreak. You enjoy your 15 minutes in the spotlight. Really savor it. I'm going home. The air's weighty tonight. Thick. Energized. I have carefully foreshadowed summer rain I can feel on every hair. They call this kind of humidity oppressive, but I disagree. The warm tension on your skin, like those short moments just after the shower turns off when the steam lingers. Yeah, it's always most comfortable right afterwards. Maybe there's no disagreement to be had. Oppressive things can be comforting too. Only the guilty ones run. I don't know about that. But I know I've never felt guilty about any of this. And I walk.
Sorry, using my left still.
That's okay, you can just initial in those spots. I took the scenic route home, courtesy of our fine city sprawling public transportation, and got in a bit after 11 p.m. Had myself a thorough shower, drank a glass of milk, did some stretching. Made sure my phone was on. Time went by evenly. Around 1:40 a.m. a posting for public defender work came up. Decent rate since it was so late and so urgent. I had wagered correctly that the boyfriend would have enough sense to ask for a lawyer and enough debt that he'd need to be provided one. All I had to do was stay awake. There wasn't much competition after 1 in the morning.
Okay, where else?
Here and here. How did I phrase it earlier? Criminal defense attorneys aren't exactly flush with customers. Why wouldn't I take on a job where I already knew more than the cops? It would have been easy to convince Carlos to plead out. I would have gotten paid the same too. But easy is dangerous. Carlos was of course innocent, so his conviction would never be airtight. There'd be doubts, questions, appeals, maybe even fans depending on his looks. More attention on the HK and his crimes, more headaches. A cold case rotting in the very far back of the public's awareness is always preferable to the one open and shut in haste. Now, with no more murders matching HK's MO, there won't be any additional public pressure to find a culprit. Now, heartbreak can just starve to death, out of sight and mind like any other fluke in the system. Almost done. Getting involved in the case this intimately does have its risks. Hell, I might have even overdone things here or there. Like lighting up a smoke inside an interrogation room, just to make doubly sure I didn't smell of gunpowder myself.
Ah.
That London fellow seemed more fixated on it than I would have liked. But obviously everything turned out rosy. And it's worth it for the finality of it. Seeing the authorities failing from the best seat in the house, that's just a bonus. Thanks again, Morgan. Oh, that's you.
Thanks again, Morgan, for everything. I'm sure Diana's grateful too.
Funny. I didn't even know her name.
Damn.
Something the matter?
No, sorry. It's just... I was mad when I left the apartment. I know she was too. So when she died...
Death is instantaneous, Carlos. I can't imagine she was in any pain. In fact, I can guarantee she was dead before she hit the ground.
No, I know, but I just keep thinking that she must have died angry at me. Well, that she must have died hating me.
And this is why I'm glad I did the one thing. To tell you the truth, Carlos, there's something I've been wondering about myself.
What is it?
Something I noticed in the ARC's data that I didn't quite understand. A piece of the puzzle I couldn't fit in anywhere else. But maybe you can make sense of it.
What is the... Where did you find that?
The pill organizer was found on the victim. She had it grasped in her hand when she died. Obviously, the police added to the ARCs, but it was quickly ruled irrelevant. Seems like it contained triprexazone, prescribed to help modders with phantom itches. They're small tablets, and those are tricky clasps, too, for a pill organizer. Could be hard to handle with an unsteady hand. No one will ever know what she was feeling when she died. Even if they did, feelings are complicated. You can feel angry, happy, and sad all at the same time. But, as far as facts are concerned, it would appear when she died, what she was doing was setting out your medication for the week.
Ow.
Damn.
To my eyes, anyway.
Ow.
Zako, you will be the last character that shows up, and I think you're going to enjoy them.
Oh god.
Long night. That was too far just now. Practically rubbing it in his face. It's not like I care about his feelings. I doubt I'll ever see him again. But overstepping like that is pure hubris. And hubris invites a downfall. So why? Why did I even bother? It was the last piece of the puzzle, I suppose. I'll just need to show more restraint next time. Though there won't be a next time for heartbreak. The gun's in custody, there's no more bullets left. There won't be a seventh victim. There won't be any more leads to pursue. The media will move on to their next obsession, and I'll move on to my next MO. And no one will ever...
Found you.
District Attorney Rockford.
Oh my god. Sorry, can I try that again? I'm so fried.
By all means.
Counselor Morgan. Morning, noon, or night, you're always so... put together.
Thank you.
I don't get it. How do you sleep at night?
Pardon?
You do white noise? Aromatherapy? Whatever you're doing, I need to steal it. God. I must have bags under my eyes dark enough for the dumpsters.
Assistant District Attorney Emma Rockford. She's a prosecutor, the lawyer who argues for the state in court, trying to prove a defendant's guilt. You're gonna say, Saris?
Oh, no.
And despite her sometimes unkempt appearance, she's probably the sharpest person to fill the position in decades. I should know, since I haven't beaten her once.
Oh.
Worse yet, she has the remarkable ability to compartmentalize all that adversarial energy and only bring it out in the courtroom. It's part of what makes her good at her job. And hard for me to read.
Should I buy a new mattress?
What have they got you doing at this ungodly hour, Emma?
Oh, well. Actually, I'm here for you.
Me?
Your client was a suspect in the Heartbreak killings. That's my case.
Well, then you must have been relieved finding out that you won't have to go to trial against me.
No? Well, how are you worried about going up against you?
It's always the unintended barbs with her. So you're working with those detectives?
Yeah, London and the new girl, Reyes. They were reporting to me in preparation for trial.
Preparation for trial? That seems ambitious.
I guess they gave you the rundown. They've been doing everything they can, but it's hard to catch a killer who leaves behind so little.
It's hard to kill while leaving behind so little. So Reyes told you that they had HK in custody, and you popped out of bed all excited to run down here?
Hardly. I haven't slept in 40 hours. Too much on my mind. So I heard about a case with a single female victim shot through the... Yeah, my ears. But that's about all.
Oh?
I mean, Carlos Flat, a serial killer, The same serial killer has outsmarted the state for weeks.
She's not using his middle name.
He was found with the murder weapon.
I can answer that any number of ways. Pretty sure none of that matters, so I'm just gonna throw this here. That may be true, but
And then I glanced at the report.
you glanced at it?
No gunpowder residue on him or his clothes.
Right.
Too remorseful, too apologetic in that note. But whatever it was about, his dominant arm modded, with documented sensitivity issues, never could have made the shots clean. Not without getting close enough to leave scorch marks. Not to mention, he's too tall for the ballistics entry angles. And probably too heavy to not leave imprints.
She got all of that from a glance.
But I'm sure a competent lawyer like yourself point out all the time the minute you walk.
Of course. Worst part is she's not even being sarcastic.
Yeah, of course it couldn't have been him. Long-term relationship, physically imposing, argumentative, so not the type to bottle things up. He didn't match the profile.
Profile? Which, I do want to share something. We've updated some profiles.
Oh!
So, first, let's look at these new ones we've got. We've got Emma, who's 165 centimeters, doesn't give her weight, blood type O positive, occupation assistant district attorney, likes coffee, toffee, haute couture, dislikes sunburn, dead pixels, and eye strain. Eggs, Benedict, plays chess, shogi, idol, save, and savant stars, and cat person, yes.
Oh god, it is me.
Then we got our boy Carlos, who's 189 centimeters tall, weighs 94 kilograms, B negative blood, civil engineer on the canopy, likes airports, worn shoes, and firm beds, dislikes cabs, musicals, and cashews, Faye flowers the poppy, student debt sizable, and luck poor, as we have seen. But the most important one is the heartbreak killer.
Ah.
175 centimeters tall, AB negative blood, criminal defense attorney, likes high places, gambling, guns, dislikes noisy people, mud, headphones, hobby, batting cages, fave dish, mapu tofu, and cannot carry a tune.
Damn.
I also want to point out here some other things I think got added. Oh, no, they didn't. Possibly didn't unlock the right things or read the right stuff, but still, we got what I mostly want to show.
Yeah, the... Right, sorry, you've probably never heard of it.
I know what a goddamn profile is.
A profile is a reconstruction of a criminal psychology based on evidence from their crimes. It's kind of fallen out of fashion for the last few decades. Not much need to guess about the why when 99 times out of 100 the who is caught on camera.
Or before they even leave the house.
I've had to find some real fossils and oddballs to get the advice on how to go about it. I think I'm getting the hang of it.
So this profiling, it's some kind of investigative technique?
The theory is that a crime can tell you something about the nature of the person who committed it. Stabbing, overkill, points to passion, rage, lust. They probably knew their victim. Poison and guns, meanwhile, suggest they can't overpower their victims physically. And then there's things you can assume about nearly all serial offenders. Childhood trauma, prior criminal record, few or no meaningful attachments. There's a lot of recurring themes in their stories.
The detectives say that HK doesn't leave evidence. So how much can this crime possibly tell you?
That he's diligent, almost perfect, highly intelligent, painstakingly organized, and with enough criminal connections to get his hands on an untagged firearm.
It's rare to see her this animated outside the courtroom. It's almost like she's enjoying herself. A sheltered house cat who's picked up the scent of a mouse for the first time.
A lone wolf, educated, but
All her playful, lethal instincts coming to life.
Probably overqualified or undervalued.
Though I'm not thrilled about the fact that in this metaphor I would be.
Know what I mean?
Definitely!
And considering the marksmanship,
Detective said HK would have needed insider information on optics. Does that mean heartbreaks in law enforcement?
never in 10 billion years.
Oh?
Antisocial, independent, despises authority. Happy like a stallion applying for a job on a merry-go-round. He'd be kicking the kids in the head after the first full rotation.
Right, that's exactly how I'd put it.
Must be some connection to the police, though. Maybe secondary or tertiary? These types can't help but insert themselves.
Insert themselves. I don't do anything even resembling that. Wait, if HK's not a cop, how do they know about the blackout timing?
Crime meta-statistics analysis. Probably.
Pardon?
Take the emergency response times from across the city and map them out, look for the brief spikes and delays, chart out the dips in... Sorry. Technical, I know. But all the requisite data is publicly available. With a map, a spreadsheet, a calculator. Anyone could reverse engineer the timing if they wanted to.
That is such an unpleasant thought, Emma. Well, at least this heartbreak maniac will slow down now that he's lost his weapon.
He didn't lose it. He chose to leave it behind. That tells me he's confident he could do just fine without it. And it just makes even more certain that these aren't his only kills.
Were there other shootings with the same MO?
No, not that I've found.
Other victims that fit the description?
No. Well, I'm not overly focused on the victim's appearance anyway. I mean, these 6 victims all look like each other, but they all look like a lot of people.
That's true.
Hell. They all kind of look like me. Oh.
Do they?
Sure. What, you don't see it?
I hadn't thought about it.
Oh. Point is, no one can kill that cleanly when it's their first time. Getting things that perfect takes practice.
Got a point.
So I know that HK must have had a lot more than 6 occasions to practice, Morgan. And that's why I think the heartbreak is a misnomer.
You got something catchy in mind?
I just don't think shooting them in the heart has any particular significance. If anything, it's a testament to their accuracy. And their cold-blooded efficiency. Best possible use of 6 untagged bullets. 6 kills guaranteed no matter what kind of life support mods they were packing. Their real signature isn't the bullets or the gun. It's the perfection.
That's hard to wrap your head around.
I'm saying that these 6 murders were just a fluke, a slip-up,
A mistake?
Exactly, a mistake. They got too clean, too efficient, and now they've got the public's attention. It's no wonder they're so pissed.
Are you talking about the crime scene?
Yeah, probably threw the detectives for a loop, right?
Based on what you've said, I don't blame them. Whoever trashed that room doesn't seem like the smooth operator you've been describing.
On the contrary.
I don't follow.
This was the last bullet, their last shot. The other 5 were perfect. So if anything was out of place this time around, they must have thrown one hell of a temper tantrum.
Oh.
You make them sound like a child.
Childish. And cowardly. And
Oh.
two-faced.
Oh.
Someone who hates to lose almost as much as they love to win.
Oh.
Your profile tell you all of that?
That? No. That part's just... takes one to know one.
So to summarize, you're looking for a cold-blooded, faceless perfectionist killer who you think has no persistent MO or victim type.
In a city with an 8-digit population.
Well, good luck.
I don't need luck. I only need more information.
Well, I'm sure the city would be happy to provide you with more resources.
No, Morgan. I mean, I need more crime scenes.
Oh,
Sad truth is, if Heartbreak walked away today, I'd never catch them. Only way my net narrows is they keep piling up bodies.
not a very fair trade, is it?
No, it isn't. But getting screwed over is a given. It's a deal with the devil.
Fair enough.
Whew. Okay, that one was pretty morbid and detailed. I need to get out more, or sleep more. Or sleep less but harder. You think a higher thread count would help?
Don't worry about it. I'm always happy to listen to you ramble. It's a lot more pleasant than having to face you in the courtroom.
Sorry, that's the adversarial process. So no hard feelings, yeah?
No hard feelings. We're both just doing what we do.
Eh?
I could use a cup of coffee. How about you?
Don't tempt me.
If you fall asleep face first on the table, I won't even take a picture.
Okay. Just don't expect us to make a difference next time we're at each other's throats.
Heartbreak won't claim any more victims. In 2 weeks, the media will have moved on to the next sensation. And the police will have moved on to the cases they actually stand a chance at closing. It's what people do. But Emma is different. She'll set it aside and work dozens of other cases, never bringing it up. But a private corner of that frustratingly sharp mind of hers will continue to whittle away at it. Never finishing, but never quitting either. So I can't afford to take my eyes off her. As long as that's the case, I may as well try to enjoy the view. And there's just a little bit more here. And then we can raid. I'll take over these because it's going to be really hard to read the white, and I can at least have a screen in front of me that's more contrast.
Thank you.
Oh, you know what? I can read it.
Okay, you take over Android, and I will take over Disembodied Voice.
Okay.
Which means you're going to a friend of mine for a while.
For how long?
I'm sorry, I don't know. There's no need to look that upset over it.
My face barely moved.
It may as well have been a blatant pout from where I'm sitting. Yeah, like that.
This friend of yours, they're trustworthy?
Absolutely. In fact, I trust them more than anyone. Hey, come on, it'll be fun.
Really?
Really educational, too. Really, educational, too. I think you could stand to learn a lot from someone like Morgan.
That was really good, actually.
There is actually a preview of the next episode, so just be ready. Just pick a character whenever you see one that you think you like, and just voice it, because there's going to be a bunch of like one lines of dialogue. But yeah, if you liked watching this demo is free on Steam. Wishlist it so that way they get more views and get more eyes on the game so they can put out more content. And follow them on Blue Sky and Twitter. Just search Of the Devil or Imp Circle Games. To be continued in. You're the smartest person I know, Morgan, when it comes to people.
There's always been nut jobs to find the company's work controversial.
Lawyers don't usually show up at the crime scene this fast.
said it would be a pain in the ass. I never said I couldn't do it.
The company's got us set for life, and probably afterwards too.
I'd rather die than play the kind of slop those machines compose. That's not just a lawyer job thing. You dress like a doorman on the weekends too.
Compared to determining fault, determining cause of death is like a breath of fresh air.
The company has
Company-
every right. Oh, go ahead, Zako.
The company has every right to defend itself.
These laws exist for good reason, you know.
People like that just don't belong in this world. Father said that you owe him.
I don't do anything out of the goodness of my heart. When I take a job, I never half-ass it.
That was an L-ass line from Rema.
And I'm going to throw up the BRIB screen, and we know exactly where we're going to go. So just give me a moment here to properly do the raids. Because we got a death pool to start running.
Yeah!
Let's go!
Let me double check exactly what their Twitch name is. I'm pretty sure I know it, but you know how it goes.
I have been waiting.
Okay.
The Unexpectables, one word.
So what should our raid message be before we do... Do you
Blood
guys...
for the blood gods! Blood for the blood gods!
Okay, blood for the blood gods. All right, we're gonna jump into that. We will see you all again in not 2 weeks' time. We've got a lot of like blank air from our Saturdays coming forward, but I will keep you posted. We love you. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye.